right, hey, we are live. This is another episode of the SquadCast. I was just texting a good friend of mine, Max. His name is Tim Leiper. He's our special guest for tonight.
I was going to say, well, I don't know what's more shocking. You got Tim Leiper or you got a friend that you're texting?
Both. Nice. Both are good.
Oh, both are good.
Both are good. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. This is the SquadCast. You are the squad. You are the fanalists. Thanks for checking in. My name is producer Clark Monroe. This is my buddy Max Ritz over here.
What's up, everybody?
And we got a great show for you tonight. A ton of great stuff coming along. I got to open up the script so I can tell you guys what's going on.
That would help.
This is the basement of the Rod Peterson Show bunker here at the IKS Media Studios. Super excited to have you guys again. Make sure you guys blow up the comments tonight, and please give us a like and a share tonight if you don't mind. Helps us get the numbers up, helps us get our comments going, and all of that great stuff.
These brightly lights lit.
Yes.
It also helps keep those.
Keeps the lights lit. Absolutely.
The lights lit.
And of course, speaking of keeping the lights lit, we are presented by Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. Our good friends Darnell and Roxanne over there are handling all the stuff you need to make sure your business operates and runs smoothly. They handle everything you need for your inner office supplies, orders, everything like that. So they can handle everything for you. And if you are with them, Max, I forgot about this. I don't know if they're still doing. Are they still doing that rebate thing that they were doing?
That's an excellent question. We should probably check with Darnell on that.
Yeah, they were doing a great program where if you were a customer of theirs and you referred somebody else to them, you got a great deal on your. I think you got like $1,500 or something.
Either way, if you're not doing the referral deal, if that's not happening, get a hoodie.
Yes.
Talk to Darnell. Talk to Roxanne. These things are fire.
So they are doing some great work over there. I see that. So anyways, Rockstar, shout out to them. As always, ask us anything throughout the evening. Send us in those comments. As I said, we got some great comments already. I already see some of our good friends are checking in. Robin Wildy from Prince Albert.
Fantastic.
Darren Slade's checking in. He ruined me in fantasy hockey last week.
Nice.
Jacobson Ronald Steven checking in, I should say. He might be checked out too, but he's checking in from North Dakota. My father says, hey, Clark and Max, home from ice fishing and tuning in from Northwest Regina.
Fantastic.
You're finally tuning in from your own house.
And not doing two activities at once. Mr. Monroe, this is excellent. We will keep you engaged for the next couple hours.
Chad Isaacs checking in. Good buddy, Chad. So, Max, I'm going to let you break down the show as I kind of finish up a few last-minute items, and off you go, bud.
Fantastic. Episode number 22, and boy, have we got a show for you. Boy and girl, we have a show for you.
Boys and girls.
The boys and girls. But
There's
the boys
multiples.
of summer are back, and there doesn't seem to be much of an area where they lack.
Oh.
Tim Leiper checks in to give us a complete breakdown of the Jays, who to this point look like they're about to win a World Series crown. Ooh. We are overdue to catch up with what's up on the hardwood, as the only thing the Raptors can't seem to beat lately is COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Habib comes in to talk NBA, and things are starting to shape up in the NHL as we near the halfway point of the season at play. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's going to be a blast. Oh, hey, J.J. Watt is a Cardinal. That saga wrapped up pretty fast.
Yeah, we will definitely be talking about that right away. Just finishing up my shares. Max, if you don't mind, do you want to kick off our top of the order brought to you by Flame Tech?
Flame Tech Combustion Services. Fantastic people over at Flame Tech. So J.J. Watt, he's a Cardinal. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not going to lie. The Cardinals are obviously in a jam-packed NFC West division. I don't think this spells out well for Seahawks fans.
Well, I was going to say, Max, this directly affects you as a Rams fan.
Well, it certainly does, but I think it affects Seahawks fans more. The reason I say that is February 9th, I believe, our producer Alan, I think, can attest to this. Russell Wilson's tired of getting hit. You know, the thing about J.J. Watt is he's a very big man. He likes to get quarterbacks. He likes to hit them. You know who else is a big man that likes to get quarterbacks and hit them? Aaron Donald.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones also on the Cardinals. Happens to be there. And you know who's over in San Francisco? Young man by the name of Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa.
One of the Bosas. Nick.
One of the
Joey's in San Diego.
Joey's in San Diego. They're both in California.
LA.
Close enough. Either way,
the other Chargers.
There's a lot of people who like to get to the quarterback. So I think Russ might be looking for a way out of that division. But what it does to the landscape in the NFC West, it just furthers the assessment that it is the toughest division in football on the defensive side of the ball. And to get out out of. I think we're looking forward to a hell of a season of football. Whenever any of the 4 teams play, it's usually a really hard-fought game. Usually some defensive battles in there, but you've got the opportunity for some high-scoring bouts as well. J.J. Watt, I'm not sure what the addition does for the Cardinals. I mean, it's 2 years, $31 million. That's what everybody was up in arms about, was the tweet, right? I think, Alan, maybe could you throw it up for us? J.J. Watt, as a Cardinal there, he's announcing over Twitter. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He looks ready to roll, which is fantastic.
Can I say something about the tweet?
Yeah.
Our good friend, Trevor Bauer, and his agent, Rachel Luba. Thank you. Sorry, Rachel. Rachel was actually the one that tweeted out, it's amazing. An NFL player tweets out his own signing and he gets praised for it. But my client, Trevor Bauer, tried to do it and he gets ripped apart. Why is that? Is baseball just boring?
Yes.
And I think that's the answer. But here's the other difference between J.J. Watt and Trevor Bauer. J.J. Watt doesn't go around self-promoting himself for an entire offseason and then put out a glamorous 3-minute YouTube video teasing where he's going to sign, and then at the end he's wearing a Dodgers jersey. J.J. Watt is like a wholesome dude. He's not flashy. He doesn't do anything extra. He just puts in the hard work, and all he did was post a picture and say, "Source me." That was it. Yeah. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't self-indulgent. No. So that's where J.J. Watt gets praise, and Trevor Bauer comes off, to some, I liked it, but to some, yourself, you thought it was a bit pretentious.
I thought it was, and I think it's guilty of, because again, we're not used to that in baseball. That's something that doesn't happen very often, but if it does, it's like an athlete of LeBron James caliber. The decision. It's Trevor Bauer. We've looked at the numbers. He's close-ish to Tanner Roark. How many finalists? Do you know the name Tanner Roark? He's going to be pitching for our Toronto Blue Jays this year, but it was kind of a Shakespearean novel of marketing pieces that were put together by Trevor Bauer. It's almost like that person that posts just a little too much on Instagram. You're not inclined to like their stuff as much. Whereas again, you have JJ coming out with a singular tweet, 2 words, and a picture of where he's going. It's a really nice workout shirt, by the way. I will say that, being an apparel fan that I am. But hey, JJ's going there. He's 31 years old. Dude,
he's not over the hill.
No. Can he stay healthy though? I mean, last year he played a full season, played 16 games. Yeah. The year before 8. The year before 16, the year before 5.
I like it.
So every second year he's due to miss about half the season. So we'll see what happens there. But he's definitely a player that can contribute massively to the Cardinals. Oh, yeah. And I'm not looking forward to seeing them twice a year, that's for sure.
Next topic, spring training is underway, and the Blue Jays are already looking pretty good.
2-0-1.
We got it. There it is. Look at Gurriel and Biggio having some fun out there.
I love Gurriel's hair.
It's
just fun.
Their offense is looking explosive already. Their pitching's doing pretty good so far.
Yep.
And we are going to dive into this with Tim Leiper next segment in just about 12 minutes time. So stay tuned for that for baseball fans. Again, they're hitting well. George Springer got his first hit today. It's tough because they're playing 7-inning games. Yeah. And there's such a split roster right now. Like there's 3 different lineups that I've seen so far for 3 different. So, it's hard to super judge everything right now, but it's fun that it's back. It's baseball. It's the weather. It's everything. It's warming up here in Saskatchewan. So it's just a great time to be a baseball fan. And again, next segment in our Bluebird block,
we're going to deep dive.
Brought to you by RBI Baseball Training and Softball.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Tim Leiper about that and a whole lot more. Next topic, the Raptors have been on a great pace, torrid pace, you might say.
Yeah.
But COVID has paused their last 2 games. There's the Raptors. Look at that logo. It's a great logo. I really do like that logo.
Siak slamming opponents left, right, and center.
Damn. Ooh, interesting.
I'm in the middle of my game today.
They are finding themselves in a Lowry place. Lowry.
Mine was better, but that's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
we're done with the Raptors puns. Did we miss NHL talk? Habs for Life 41 says. Not yet. That's coming up later in the show, segment 4.
This segment 2.5 hours from now.
This segment we're covering the big topics. We do have some hockey stuff coming up, so don't go away. Then we got a baseball segment with former Blue Jays coach Tim Leiper, NBA segment with our good buddy Habib from Hooplife Basketball here in Regina, and then NHL segment, completely NHL in segment 4. So there's our lineup for today.
Fantastic.
Next segment, or next topic, I should say, Tiger Woods. He had a great tribute on Sunday on the tour. There's a picture there. Of course, all of the people involved in the tournament decided to wear red. Are they all Nike, or I can't imagine that some of the people
I'm not too sure. I don't know how the sponsorships would have passed.
No, there's a couple Nikes Nike's on there, but
whoever
those
wasn't
guys.
signed, I'm sure, has
Golf
some
is a
swooshes going.
very particular sport when it
Yes.
comes to sponsors. So I'm
Yes.
sure that they all weren't wearing Nike shirts. However, it was a very great gesture for the entire sport of golf.
It just shows how much he still means to the game of golf after all this time.
Absolutely.
I think that's the number one thing you take away from it is people understand that the game of golf still and probably for the next 10, 15, 20 years will be better for having Tiger Woods in and around it in some shape or form. It's like Wayne Gretzky being involved with the NHL. It really is. Just having the premier athlete, the legendary athlete that Tiger Woods and everything he's brought to the game. I hope he gets better soon. I'd like to see him back out there and see another stretch of dominance. I think we were both maybe a little too young to appreciate the stretch of dominance he had from the 97 to the early 2000s. But I tell you what, if he comes back and healthy and goes on a torrid pace, hey, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Jordan, I got a report for you, my good friend. Tim Leiper has logged in. You said you can see him. His screen is dark, so maybe I'll let you and Alan tinker with that for the next few minutes.
Nice.
Next topic, Calgary Flames. They are sad. They're sad.
They
Max.
are the Calgary Shames.
You can
Yes,
put up
they
that
are.
picture too, boys, if you have a sec. There it is. They, they
Is
haven't.
that before or after Monty got hit in the face with a puck in warm-ups?
I'm going to say this is before that happened.
Gotcha.
The Calgary Flames were infamous, you might say, the other
Infamous.
night for a very sloppy warm-up segment or session. Guys were falling all over each other. Guys were hitting each other in faces with the puck. They were like banging into their goalies.
You see Lucic's face?
Lucic looked like he was about to puke.
Face. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what was going on with the Calgary Flames, but it appeared to affect their on-ice performance, and they have been struggling as of late.
Dropped a couple to the pesky Sens.
In terms of what they've only lost one in a row, like they just lost their last game, but they're 3-6-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
In comparing that to the Senators are 6-4-0 in their last 10. So we'll talk about this later in the show, but the Senators are surging at the right time because there's a couple teams in front of them. The Canadians have lost 5 in a row, Max.
Yeah.
5.
Who would have thought that? Hey?
So, the Senators are finding their groove at a right time because, all along we've said the Senators are the pesky Sens. They're back. The pesky Sens are back. They aren't a bad team. They're just very young, very inexperienced, and they don't have a ton of, proven scorers, proven guys. They're all still proving themselves. But sometimes when you have a lot to prove, that's when you play your best.
Well, we saw it in 2017 or 2018, sorry, when the Vegas Golden Knights came into the league, right? I mean, bit of a different situation, obviously, but when you got veteran leadership that cares about what they're doing and they're trying to earn spots for next year, that's the one thing about the Sens. They got a lot of one-year contracts, a lot of guys trying to earn their way for next season, and they're doing a good job of it so far. Again, they're just a team that beats you up every night. You're not going to walk away from a game against the Sens without a couple bruises, and I think that's what they're starting to show.
Yeah. One note I just remember, I did see it today. Oh, by the way, thank you. Tanner Getz has sent us 95 Facebook stars.
Thank you, Tanner.
Yes, thank you, Tanner.
Thank you very
these
much.
Facebook stars are blowing my mind. Still not quite sure how they all work, but Tanner has sent us 95, and I will give you a massive shout out if you send us stars. So if you want to send us Facebook stars, you will get a big shout out. I don't know how, but you'll get one.
Well, I'll just have to say this for Tanner. We'll have to reciprocate on your new show, Mondays. That goes every couple of weeks now. So I don't know too much about the program. Tanner
Munz
can help
Media.
us out.
You know what? Let's do it. Munz Media. Check out Munz Media.
Yes.
There's a shout out, Tanner. That's what you get for sending us stars.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, good sir. Thank you very much.
We got some other comments. Habs for Life is crying. I think that's Flames related, or maybe it's Habs related because they've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Chad Isaac says, "Can we please talk about something else?" Because he's a sad Flames fan.
It's tough.
Dylan McDonald says, "Hey guys." Dylan's a Leafs fan. I know that for a fact. Janelle Barkman. "Oh, hi there, Yossi Jersey." Janelle has a crush on Roman Yossi, I'm pretty sure.
I do too.
Well, you do too.
I do too.
I mean, who doesn't? He's a gorgeous man.
honestly.
I'm just going to say it.
Yep.
Donna Berger. "Our neighbors down the road, Tuckers and Petersons, go to Blue Jays spring camp every year in late February. So cool. That's a dream of mine to go to a spring training. One day it would be sweet to watch that. Clark, you put together a trip. Hey, I think we're getting some ideas.
So TD Canada Trust, if you're listening, I mean, we'd happily come down and report live every day
Saskatchewan,
for 6 hours.
Spring training, baseball trip. All Sask people.
Let's do it.
RP. Maybe we'll do an RP show trip with spring
That'd
training.
be
Who knows?
fantastic.
But maybe
Rod
it's a
likes
SquadCast.
Florida.
Maybe
I'm
it's
sure
just a
Rod likes
SquadCast.
Florida.
Might just be a SquadCast thing. Who knows?
Oh, interesting.
And Jacobson, Ronald Stevens says, "Are the Senators getting I'm not going to read that
kind
comment.
of show.
Not going to read that comment. I'm putting a poll up right now that says who is the top NHL trade target. We were bouncing this around before the show, and we will get to it again later in the show because it is, I think, it's winning the Vigor fan vote. We'll get to in about 1 minute.
People loving
here.
that hockey talk.
So we're going to talk about the TSN trade bait board right away. Thank you, Tanner Getz, again. Much appreciated. Hadn't seen this Stars thing on Facebook, so wanted to try it out. Appreciate it, my good sir. 2 more topics, then we got the Vigor fan vote. Preds are winning 4 out of 5. Max, these boys are hot.
Tell you what, man, it was ever since last Tuesday.
There's a but to this, though.
Yeah, there is a big old but.
Now, this is from last year, but it's applicable. A, this is the jersey that we have on set. B, Ryan Ellis in the picture about a year ago today got hurt. He is also hurt for 4 to 6 weeks as of just a minute ago.
My twin, I felt that pain. Like before he even hit the IR, you just get that little jolt in your heart when my bearded brother went down.
Poor bearded brother.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks though for our second best defenseman.
You could pull off a Ryan Ellis like doppelganger. You're close.
I could do it. I could give it
first off, Gotta interrupt. We have a stars update. Janelle Barkman has sent us 200 stars.
Well, thank you very much.
Again,
Janelle.
I don't know what that really means, but thank you, Janelle.
We'll
That's amazing.
Figure it out,
I really appreciate
we promise.
it.
Thank you.
I think it means really good things. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Stars are good.
Stars are great.
Yes.
So back to the Preds, Max. Ryan Ellis is out. Ryan Johansson is out on COVID, which he could be back next week.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Luke Kunin is out for 2 to 4 weeks.
Sir,
with
it's
an injury.
pronounced Cunnin.
I'm gonna say Kunin.
From Chris Mason.
I'm gonna go with Kunin. Cunnin?
Luke
Okay.
Cunnin.
Luke Cunnin is out for 2 to 4 weeks.
That's too many words for him. He's got 6 points in however many games. I don't know. At the end of the day, Luke, he's
still a guy.
He's still a guy, and he's been a little bit of a disappointment. But with that being said, it opens up room in the lineup for
Tanner Jeannot. Yes.
He's going to be making his Preds debut tonight. Wearing
shout out to now is it Estevan specifically, or I think he's from around the Estevan Oxbow. Anyways, southeastern Saskatchewan product.
Yep.
Tanner Jeannot is making his NHL debut right now as we speak.
Yep.
He is playing for the. Here's my star, says Robin Wildy, and just put a bunch of star emojis.
Thanks, Robin.
Not quite the same thing. I'll still give you a shout out, Robin.
Absolutely.
Final topic of this top of the order segment is when my.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, the Leafs.
When did you sneak this one in there?
The Leafs. I took out one of your garbage topics.
Oh, thank you.
And put one of these ones in.
That's right.
The Leafs take 2 of 3 so far. They play again tomorrow night, but from the Edmonton Oilers, William Nylander is smoking hot. I just had to say it like that. Morgan Riley's on a point streak as well. Apparently, he has 17 points in his last 18 games. Great little road for him. Plus, you saw Jason Spezza coming on over the weekend. They had some depth scoring, got a little bit of everything.
Little depth goaltending.
Jack Campbell with a shutout and Michael Hutchinson with a shutout. I didn't see that coming. I actually have a video on record on TikTok, which I am big on TikTok, apparently.
Clark Talk, yep.
And I said that I was very, very worried about Michael Hutchinson. And, hey, he proved me wrong.
You had no reason to be.
Now, it's funny because I wasn't going to get into this, but I will now because I said it. But I put a video on TikTok about McDavid's going to wreck the Leafs because, everyone's making fun of him for that bad game on Saturday night.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, whatever, the Leafs suck, or whatever, Oilers are better. And then the Leafs beat the Oilers, and I got like a slew of return commenters being like, oh, this didn't age well. Oh, you look stupid now. And I was like, I look stupid because Michael Hutchinson played better than I expected? No, that's great. I'm pumped. Like, that's good. I don't see why you're mad. Like, you can't chirp me because I said, oh, McDavid's going to have a great game, and the Leafs shut him down. I'm a Leafs fan. That's good.
Director Jordan, do we have a sound effect for heel turning?
Like a thump?
Like heel
Something
turning?
along those lines?
Because I believe in Squad Select, you also went against your boys.
I did.
You just go negative and positive things happen. Is that really true fandom? I don't know.
Yeah, but it worked out in my favor, though. So here's the thing. I picked in our Squad Select, and we will get to this later as well. Actually, you know what? If you can pull up the Squad Select, it's at the very bottom of the graphics, Alan and Jordan. So I picked the Oilers in our battle game. Max got the Leafs. There it is. So I picked the Oilers.
I got the Leafs.
Well, I picked the Oilers first, so therefore
Funny
you
how
had
the
to pick the Leafs.
terminology is changing from Saturday to Tuesday.
Well, no, because I went first and I picked the Oilers, therefore you had to pick the Leafs. That's how it works in the battle games.
I knew they were going to win anyways, though the psychology, it got you.
Yeah, so shout out to Max because this graphic is amazing. I love the graphic.
Thank you.
But my idea was, if the Oilers win, great, I win the bet. If they lose, great, my team won. So I picked the Oilers thinking again that they were gonna, come out hot. They didn't, and the Leafs won. So I was super pumped about that. But
Carrying over from football season with W's, though, hey?
well, yeah, because you're 4-1 and I'm 3-2, right?
Yep.
So Max got the early lead
Can't
on
bet
Squad
that
Select.
good when I put money on it for some reason. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Go 4-1 when we're playing for no money, but
We're going to get to Vigor fan vote now, but the top of the order was brought to you by Flame Tech Combustion Services. Flame Tech strives to provide comfort for everyone in communities across Saskatchewan. Flame Tech is proud to support local businesses and initiatives throughout this great province. For more than 20 years, our focus at Flame Tech has remained the same, and while the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, we are here for our communities. Visit flametech.ca for more information today on how they can help you. We're getting into the Vigor fan vote quickly. We've been talking about this, Max. I got to bring this up. Janelle Barkman. Is there any SquadCast bunny hugs coming out soon? I literally texted Max on Sunday and said we need a bunny hug or like a light hoodie or something.
Yeah.
And Max is on it.
it's in production. It's in the early phases of production. Things cost money. Things
They do.
take time. But with that being said, no, we are underway definitely in terms of getting a small apparel line launched. We started with some T-shirts. We're going to try and roll those out hopefully by the end of March. They got delayed a little bit due to some decorating issues. But hoodies, bunny hugs. Sorry, I can't say. We're in Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
It's
bunny
not
hugs.
a hoodie. It's a bunny hug.
Yep.
They will hopefully be in and around the same time. We'll see. We'll see what the weather does. It might be T-shirt season real soon.
Oh, yeah.
But hey,
I'm always a good
We'll try and
hoodie
make
guy,
you
though. If
guys
you give me a
happy
good-
with some nice merchandise.
Like a thin bunny hug, like a nice light bunny hug. That's my jam.
So
I'll
like
wear that
Kevin
every
Klein
day.
from Under Armour now? Where do you want me to pull these from, Clark?
I don't know. We'll talk.
We'll figure it out.
The
though,
Vigor
guys.
fan vote. We got the graphic up. There it is over here. Where are we? There it is.
There it is.
So we had the Senators are surging. They're only 6 points out. That was close to winning. Didn't win. The Raptors' COVID problems, we kind of already touched on that. Didn't win. Wasn't close. Clark on the Leafs got a third place finish. And the TSN trade bait board. The NHL trade deadline is about a month away now, and it's already heating up for the trade rumors. And
It
of
is.
course, that won the vote. We had to see that coming.
Exactly.
So if you guys can put up the graphic now for the TSN trade board, please, the trade bait board. I'll let you guys take a second. We were talking about this before the show, but there are some names on here that could definitely change an NHL team around.
Certainly.
And of course, we have your boy Matthias Ekholm, top of the list, with a 30-year-old left-handed defenseman. Would love to see him on the Leafs.
Came back
I don't know if
against
that's going to
Columbus.
work
He
out.
was hurt for 6 games and had a 2-goal performance. Literally willed us to victory. Yeah, I think any team would be lucky to have Matthias Ekholm for the right price. We'll start with Nylander, Matthews in a first, but hey, I mean, there's room to talk.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Then we got David Savard from Columbus, who's been rumored for a while. Tony DeAngelo was a name that kind of surprised us, Max, for the reason that I don't know if any team wants him on their team. I'm
Rangers
surprised he's
certainly
up that
don't.
high.
So we were watching on Insider Trading before the program. I guess he's wanting a loan somewhere in the AHL. The Rangers won't even send him down to Hartford. They don't even want him connected to that franchise anymore. So all the power to Tony DeAngelo trying to get his career back on track. But based on some of the things I've heard, I don't know if he deserves to. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe there's some reckoning for him. But
He's literally been in hot water since his junior hockey days for the same stuff. So he got banned on Twitter or whatever too. Like, there's a lot of baggage around him. I don't see a team really. Rod was under the impression that, hockey talent trumps all, and somebody will take a chance on him because it's the business, and that's just how it works.
eventually, but there's a lot of guys that have some similar caliber to Tony DeAngelo.
Robin Wildy's saying, "I'm talking trade bait."
Talking trade bait.
Yeah. So, anyways, we are talking
Nice.
trade bait. Let's just rattle the list here. Brandon Montour of the Sabres. You see a lot of Sabres on this list.
Yeah.
Not Jack Eichel. We'll maybe get into that in segment 4. Tees. Taylor Hall's on there. Mikael Granlund from your Nashville Predators. Bobby Ryan, who's having a nice year from Detroit.
He really is.
For a very cheap price. I think he
$1 million
should be,
bucks.
He should be higher on this list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jake Virtanen's been all over the rumor mill. Sam Bennett's been all over. But Jamie Anstey, shout out Jamie Anstey. He wants Sam Bennett on every team team for the best players. It's not happening, Jamie. Tanner Pearson, Luke Glendening from Detroit, Vince Dunn.
That's a nice
who
little
asked
player.
for a trade.
That's
Vince
a
Dunn.
nice little player that could really add to somebody's D-corps.
He apparently requested a trade earlier in the year. Eric Stahl, Mark Stahl, the Stahl Bros.
The Stahl Bros, 13 and 14.
And,
I think Frank Saravalli, when he was typing this, I was just like, it's just easier to put.
Should have put Jordan Stahl in there too.
Yeah, really should. He's having a good year in Carolina too, though.
You know, they should almost trade all the Stalls to Carolina and just make it a thing.
Crazy not
And
to.
Ryan DeZingle in Ottawa, who just got traded
back to Ottawa.
So I don't know if that's like a typo or what, but I don't think he's on the list.
He just hasn't happened. But this was as recent of yesterday, right? And DeZingle.
This is as of yesterday. Yeah, It already says he's on Ottawa, so it's already updated.
Yeah,
so.
He's going to be pulling a galley. What's your nickname for Mr. Galchenyuk? Is he good? Did you watch?
Apparently, he had a really good first AHL game for the Marlies.
He's playing with the Marlies?
Yeah, he's playing with Robertson and Adam Brooks, my boy, Adam Brooks.
Okay.
Best player. Adam Brooks is going to be a star.
Good acquisition.
We're going to head to a break. Wait, do we have to do a sponsor read? Yes, we do, for
Yes,
Vigor
we do.
Lifestyles. Vigor Lifestyles is VIGR.ca. That's Vigor Lifestyles. Check out their full lineup of natural health and healing supplements. Do we have the Elk Velvet out?
Yeah, we do. Out front.
Is it out there?
I cleaned it up.
Including the amazing Elk Velvet Antler, which Max just popped a couple pills before we went on air.
Sure did.
And it's great. You need to check out their website and figure out how they can help you with your natural health and healing. We're heading to a break. Tim Leiper, our good buddy, who we haven't had on the show yet, but he's already a good buddy.
Yes.
He's coming up after the break.
He's got a friendly
We're going to be
face.
talking baseball. We are so happy about this one. We'll see you in about 2 minutes. Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Peterson Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Everyday Hooplife. Every day.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
All right, we are heading into the Bluebird Block. Alan, I'm going to ask you to toss that up. The Bluebird Block, presented by RBI Baseball and Softball Training, Regina. We usually have this segment just to talk Jays. We've only done it a couple times, but we talk about Jays related items, related things, baseball specific
Rumors, scores,
things.
who's hot, who's not.
But today, we figured, why not bring on a guest who might know a thing or two about the Blue Jays? And, with our next guest coming in, don't bring him in yet, guys. I have a little prop here. We have 2 coaches now who have won a banner with a Blue Jays franchise.
Wow.
So here's mine. So this is the my 2019 provincial champions, Regina Blue Jays Tier 2,
Incredible.
but still pretty good. Provincial champions banner.
Championship's a championship,
Yeah,
Clark.
and our next guest has also raised a banner, maybe a little bit more significance.
A little more prestigious.
There he is with the Blue Jays. And, of course, we're talking about former first base coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, Tim Leiper. Tim, thanks for joining us tonight as on the cusp of spring training.
That's great. I'm sure you had a lot more to do with your banner than I actually had to do with ours.
That's actually, what, I'll bring that up. That was one of my questions I was going to save for later in the interview. But, it's funny, Tim. I was talking to my wife the other day. I'm like, hey, I got Tim Leiper coming on the show. And she's like, oh, she's not a sports fan. She's like, oh, who's that? I'm like, well, he used to be the first base coach for the Jays. And she's like, oh, what does a first base coach do? And I was like, well, they stand at first base. They help the base runners. But I wanted to ask you, Tim, on a day-to-day basis, like the life of a first base coach seems like kind of the perfect job. Can you kind of explain what goes on for a first base coach specifically?
There is actually more to the job than it seems, but when you get that question at first, it does stump you. I mean, I guess the easy thing to say is you slap butts and you collect all the protective gear they have all the time. And when you're really good, you got a lot of protective gear. Or you were like we were like in 18 and you end up out of work and you don't get too much protective gear either. So there's a lot that goes into it in terms of just being proactive. But there's a lot of time you actually have a really good seat for the game. You stand there and you get to see a lot of cool stuff. So that's basically about what it is.
Well, speaking of a cool seat, we've heard you talk about this on the Rod Peterson Show, which of course I produce and have booked you on a few times. But in terms of good seats, you were right there for the Jose Bautista bat flip. You were on the field for that entire playoff run. Can you just go through what being on the field for that series, that playoff run in general, was like for you as a baseball fan?
Yeah, it was funny. I actually was talking to Arash Madani about it today, and it just kind of hit me when we were talking, like just how great and how special it was to be involved in something at that high a level at a time when everybody is so great and so everybody's so on top of their game. But it was neat. And honestly, like as a first base coach, you're involved a lot in the game. You're involved in like pretty much playing out the events before they happen and trying to alert the guy at first base. Hey, here's what could happen here. Be ready for this if this happens. And that's kind of what your job is over there. But it's great. You talk about the bat flip, and during that time and during that play, I was in a position where I wasn't really needed by the runners at that time. So it's funny because I just made an unconscious decision to kind of move closer to the hitter in that situation and just really focus on Jose and just watch him. I didn't watch the pitch from Dyson coming in. I didn't watch anything. I just wanted to watch him and watch the swing. I had no idea he was going to home run. I do know that it was really loud and there was a really cool moment. The benches had been empty a few times. Canadians were throwing full beer cans on the field, so you knew a lot of crazy stuff was going on. And it was just cool. And I was really focused on him when he hit the home run. And I said this before, like the first words out of my mouth were almost like, hey, you got to run. And I didn't get run out of my mouth. I realized, wow, this is such a huge home run for not only for the Blue Jays, not only for us in this game, but like for the whole country. And like it's one of those moments that's kind of frozen in time, and it'll be on every picture in Toronto sports history forever. And I was so lucky just to be there and be so close to it and be a part of that. And it was really, really cool.
Well, it's funny. We've had this conversation a few times from different perspectives. And another guy we had on our show was Barry Davis, who I think was on the other side of the field from you. But I think he was about as close to Jose as you were because he sprinted onto the field as soon as he made contact with the ball. So he told us from his perspective the exact same story. I love it. There's I think there's about a 6-minute video on YouTube that's like a cinematic breakdown of that entire game. And it ends with Jose's home run and him running into the dugout and just the crowd noise. I think I've watched it maybe 150 times, and every time
it was 500.
I get shivers every time. We got some comments coming in from our fans, Tim. We'll get to a couple later on in the show. But spring training is upon us, Tim, and we're excited, but we still got snow up here, so there's not much we can do in terms of going out and throwing a ball around. But you've been to a few spring trainings in your day. What is your favorite part about spring training? Just getting to the ballparks, the sounds, the smells, everything along those lines.
It's funny when you live up north, like just, and it sounds really weird that I'm looking, you can't see my window now, but I got snow up to the top of my window and I really can't see out and see my front of my house. And I'm not there yet, but it's green. Like when you live in snow and you live up here, like you go down and you see the green grass and it feels so great. And then you get the smells and you get those things going. Now I'm one of these guys that think spring training is really way too long and way too involved. But when you first get down there and you get warm and you see the green grass and you get to be with the guys again and talk about things like that, that's really cool. Like for me, it's always a good time just to get back together with people because when the season ends, you just kind of go home and you talk to guys. But like even if you don't talk to guys, you show up to spring training and like the conversation that was taking place last September pretty much just picks up where it left off. And I've done it every day of my adult life, and it's just great to go down there. And it's always a good time in spring training because every team's so hopeful and your optimism is really high. It's not until you get to the end of spring training where you start looking at all the things that could possibly go wrong with your team and you get in a little bit of a panic mode. But like those first days and getting into the swing of things, it's really good to see guys get back into work, and it's fun just to be out there and be outside again.
Absolutely, Tim. And you know what? Sitting here myself, I'm one of those what you call an armchair GM, possibly the most overpopulated position in the game of baseball. But I'm wondering.
Listen, we all are.
Absolutely, especially when times are as exciting as this. But I'm wondering, as you alluded to earlier, spring training maybe gets a little bit bogged down, a little bit long. But how much stock can you put into these early performances? The Jays are obviously 2-0-1. We've seen some good performances so far. How much stock can you really put into the first few days of camp? And can guys really make or break themselves in these first 10 days of camp, say?
You're not a really good team if guys can break themselves in 10 days. And like they're in a situation now where they're really good and you know what they have. And there's going to be guys that are new. There's Steven Matz. There's a handful of guys that just got guys that are going to bounce back. Guys like Tanner Roark. Like I think you go into spring training, you kind of know what you have and you kind of have to go with it. And to kind of put this in perspective, I mean, I go back to 2014. We were playing, and like we had J Happ, and J Happ had come. It was with us, and he wasn't J Happ. He wasn't the guy that won 20 games in 2016, and we really didn't know where he fit. And we thought he was really good. We really wanted him to do well, and we went into Pittsburgh and played a late game in spring training. It was the worst baseball game I've ever sat on a field for. Wandy Rodriguez, the Pittsburgh pitcher, batted around in the inning and legitimately drove in 7 runs in the inning. And you're like, okay, well, that didn't give us a very good feeling going into the season, but you knew, but Jay was in our rotation. Jay did really well. And obviously he went on to be one of the best pitchers in the American League over the next 2-3 years. So it's tough to make judgments on guys. I think you really need to go with past performance. I think you need to go on your evaluations of guys. When it comes down to the last few spots, I think that's where it kind of matters. And I also think early in spring training, it's a great, you saw Jordan Groshans hit a home run the first day. That gives him a great feel to be, to feel part of being in the big leagues, even though it's not quite what the big league atmosphere is. But for him to go in front of a major league staff for the first time, a major league coaching staff, and hit a home run, that's a big deal. And that's a really good thing for him. I remember being my last year there. I remember Biggio and Vladdy and Bichette coming over. And I remember Cavan hitting a home run against Minnesota, and it was a big deal. It was really, really cool. He was going to feel comfortable anyway, but it was also something that was really, really good for him. And it was funny at the time that we were down there, and they wanted to kind of keep Bichette and Guerrero around, not around us too much, because we were kind of a staff on their way out and a team that was kind of going down on the rebuild. And every time these guys came over, they were the best players on the field. So I remember the first time that Bichette and Guerrero came over, they got 7 hits between them. And I said, "Great job, guys. You're never going to be invited back." So, that was kind of the funny things. Those are the fun things you take away from early in spring training.
So it's been a big off season for the Jays, probably their biggest since you were on the team, Tim. And they've added George Springer and Marcus Semien. Kirby Yates was a pitcher that they added, and several other guys. But you mentioned last week on our other show, the Rod Peterson Show, of course. But you mentioned that right now is a great time to add because these young guys are ready. Can you talk about this group as a whole right now and your feel about the entire team?
First of all, I had a little bit of history with them, so you know how they are, and then you know what their situation was when they came to the minor leagues. These guys always won. They were always together, and they have a lot of belief in each other. They know each other really well, and that's really cool. That's such a great foundation for these guys. And then you kind of go and you add pieces like Marcus Semien is like what a great addition. I know it was late. I know he's doing a position change, but he's a guy who's been to playoffs the last 3-4 years. He's a guy who's had to really work hard in his career to stick there, and he's actually really blossomed in areas where early in his career he was terrible. I mean, there's so much character to this guy. Like it only strengthens your team. You got George Springer, who's been to the World Series. You know, he's won a World Series. He's a pro the way he goes about it. So I think these young guys last year, they made the playoffs, and it was an expanded field, and they only played 2 games. But in their mind, they really accomplished something. And to be honest with you, they did accomplish a lot because they were a terrible team the year before. But in their mind, they believe they're really good. And then you go and add these pieces that are really, really good on top of that. And it just seems to keep building. I think everything they've done to keep building, especially on the offensive side of things this year, has been really good, and it only is going to make them better, deeper, stronger. And it's nice that when players, feel that they're a good team, and then you also feel like management goes out and gets guys for you, like, they believe in you too. And that's what creates like a healthy system. I mean, there was nothing better. I remember when we got Josh Donaldson in the trade, I was in South Africa of all places doing a baseball camp. But I can remember just the feeling that I had, like, oh my, first of all, how the hell did we get this guy? Like, what do we do? But I remember thinking, gosh, this guy's going to be great. This guy's going to make us so much better. And it was the same with Russ Martin. I think I was away somewhere, and when you get 50 texts on your phone, like either someone died or something really good happened, and it was those texts. I mean, we got Russ Martin and Josh Donaldson, and that being said, that didn't make us great. It made us significantly better, but really, it took the course of the season to be able to keep adding things to get better. I mean, obviously the trade deadline was huge for us the year in 15, where we won the American League East and we went 43-18. And I think where this team is in terms of having prospects, in terms of they haven't given up anybody, in terms of what their needs are, which is probably starting pitching, and then the season's going to play out and see what other needs you have. They're primed to go get guys from other teams in baseball. And it's not just pitchers that are available now that can only really come in on a 1-year contract or want too much money for a 3-year contract. There's guys that are going to be able to trade for that can maybe help the team this year, but also help them the next year and maybe the year after that. Because as you know, in baseball right now, not every team's like putting their best foot forward to try to make the playoffs and try to win. So there's going to be some good players available from teams that are trying to rebuild and shed some payroll.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've bantied around a lot of names. One that hasn't come up quite yet that I'm super excited about, Rowdy Tellez. Obviously had a really good spring training debut, a nice little double down the line, little, two-baser, grab a couple of runs driven in already early in camp. It's just awesome to see, and somebody that I want to see succeed. I'd really like to see him get full regular at-bats this year. Obviously, it's a very crowded lineup, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing when you've got a good team where it's going to be tough to crack the lineup. But for Rowdy, what do you think his ceiling is, Tim? And I guess, how would you like to see Charlie Montoyo utilize him this year?
He's in a rough position. I mean, just because Vladdy's going to play first, and then that's the way it's going to be. And Vladdy's going to play against right-handed pitching, so that's one thing. They have a lot of versatility. There's some things that are going to need to work out. It doesn't have to be perfect when the season starts. Rowdy's a guy that just keeps getting better. There was guys last year that made huge improvements. Between him, Grichuk, and Teoscar Hernandez, like the improvements they made in terms of the professionalism of their at bats, the way they handled adversity, and just putting solid at bat after solid at bat together, like that was huge. And so Rowdy had a great year, and he's got to have to buy his time a little bit. Obviously, I think he's going to probably get the bulk of the DH at bats early, the way it looks now against right-handed pitching. But it's when you're there and you're in a good frame of mind and you have a good spring training, which he's obviously starting out to do, and he believes in himself, like somehow, some way, it always kind of finds a way. The game finds a way to reward you and get you at bat. So while it maybe look a little bit bleak because he's not going to get the majority of the time at first base, there are some DH at bats for him. And I'll tell you what, when you play well, it's amazing how the manager and the front office finds a way to keep you in the lineup. And I think that's kind of where he is right now. Like, he just keeps getting better and better. And when he's doing the things that he's doing, he's a guy that can break open the game with one swing. You try to find a place for him.
So the Jays right now, the biggest question has been probably around their starting pitching. We saw them add some relievers to their bullpen, but nobody in the starting roles really. They have Nate Pearson coming up, of course. They have put some faith in Robbie Ray, bringing him back. But what do you think about the pitching, and how do you think they should approach it this year? How would you approach it, I guess, going forward in this season?
Well, I think the way that you can kind of see where they're approaching it now, they built some depth in terms of numbers of starters, and there's nobody there. You got Ryu, who's a 6-inning guy, likes to go the extra day of rest. I mean, if you look at it right now, I think Pearson is probably your number 2, but that's debatable. I just think I'm going to look at my notes here, between Pearson, like Robbie Ray, Rourke, Stripling, Stephen Matz, who had a really nice first outing today, you kind of know that it's not a slam dunk with these guys. So you try to get them off to a good start and hope one of these guys can kind of like step forward and take his game to another level. You also have the fact that it was a short season last year, 60 games. So, guys are going to go from, 70 innings or 90 innings to like, you're going to try to push them to 200. So you got to be really careful about that too, because this is a time where a lot of injuries can happen. So the fact that they have numbers in starters, that's a good thing, because if a starter does get blown out early, you do have some guys with some length behind them that can come in and kill some innings for you. The other side is they built a really nice pen, but you want your starters to pitch well enough to where you don't have to overuse the pen. And I think that's going to be the key, because you need to be really good down the stretch. You obviously need to be good August, September. That's when your playoff push is really going, and you hopefully don't wear out your bullpen that you build before that time. So I think they're going to try to cover a lot of things with offense right now, but at the same time, you don't want to be playing 9-8 games every night. That's not going to be good for you. But I think once the starting rotation kind of shakes itself out and they get, you get into the first couple of months, like I said, they have some trade chips so they can get guys from other teams. They can do some things to be creative. And I think that's when you're going to see the real test of this front office and making moves and doing the finishing pieces for the team. I don't know if they expect to maybe go all the way this year, but they're definitely trending and going in that direction. So I think there's some really good work that can be done during the season this year. And I think next offseason is going to be the one offseason where you really see them going after, good starters, unless some of these guys kind of step forward. I mean, you look back at us, Marco Estrada in 15, he wasn't in the rotation to start the season. We didn't know what to do. We had to pick up an option on him at the end of spring, and I don't think he cracked the starting rotation until maybe May at the earliest. And then again, he became one of the best pitchers in the American League for 3 years. So you kind of hope that someone like a Chatwood or Chatwood's going to be in a reliever, but you go to Matz or Robbie Ray picks it up, and I think that's kind of what they're hoping for. And then the people you have to go get becomes a little bit less.
So you mentioned starters going late into a ball game. Now, one of the biggest controversies from this past season.
Does that happen anymore?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But one of the biggest controversies, and you know where I'm going with this, I can tell, but Blake Snell getting pulled in the World Series. So I was wondering, just with that in mind, how big of a role in hockey up here in Canada, we call them advanced stats or advanced statistics, but I think sabermetrics, they use all sorts of different terminology for it. But how big of a role did that play while you were coaching with the Jays? And what are your thoughts on overusing advanced stats in today's baseball game?
It's how you use them. I mean, advanced stats are super important. And again, when you're my age and you've been in the game as long as the young guys think you don't like advanced stats, and if you speak out on certain things, they say you're old school, you don't get it. We get it. We've all looked for it. We all understand them, right? We didn't use them as much with us as we did. I mean, it was kind of the way Gibby ran things. But there was also a lot of knowledge and stuff that went into the decision making as well. So it's obvious. You can't argue the fact that you go third time through the order, like your numbers go down. But there's also times during the season and in certain situations where you have a chance to change the numbers as well. And so the advanced numbers are huge. They're gigantic. Experience is huge and gigantic as well. And when you look at a guy carve a lineup up through two times around, and you decide to take him out just because the numbers say so, I think you're kind of missing the boat a little bit. You're also missing a chance to see something really special, because there's nights when guys are just on and they're not going to get hit. And if you're a player on the other side of the field and let's say you're Mookie Betts and you're going to face him for the third time through the order and you struck out your first 2 at-bats, you're not up at the plate sitting up there like ready to go and digging in and thinking you're going to do damage. You're trying to get a hit. You're trying to survive. You're going to take weak hacks to try to like just do anything to make contact with the ball. And so on those certain nights, you have to have a little bit of feel for what the guy can do and get and try and let him go and see. Otherwise, there'd be no great moments in baseball, And then that's the one thing we're kind of getting away from. I think for guys my age or older guys that have been around the game, and if you say you're not into analytics, you're stupid. And the other thing is, if you're an analytics guy and you live solely on analytics, you're stupid too. Like there's a blend, and experience has a seat at the table. Advanced statistics have a seat at the table, and I think when you can blend all those things together, then you can do something really special. And the ability to recognize when a guy is on the verge of having a really special night, especially like they were facing World Series elimination, and you had a guy that was just absolutely dealing and wanted the ball, like that's a big deal. I mean, those are the tough decisions. So you need to have a blend. You also need to realize with your front office, like if you go that way and it doesn't work out, like it's okay, because you went the way you wanted to go and it didn't work out. The only thing better about it at the end of the day is you can explain your move better than you could to say like, hey, I thought he had a special night going. So there's a nice blend there. There's no straight answer to it. It's baseball. There's a lot of different variables, but again, analytics drives everything we've always done, basically. Like if you just go out there and say you have feel and you don't have a reason for what you're doing, like you're not going to be a very good manager or coach. But you also need to be keen enough and aware enough to know your players and know when that timing to push things a little bit more is there for you to take.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I think Kevin Cash is still doing some explaining to Rays fans and front office. Again, we'll see how long he stays in Tampa. Unfortunately, that was just a decision that, it really changes the direction of that franchise, especially with Snell now being in another uniform. But going from the eye test of analytics to something that has always been a thing for me when watching spring training is the threads, the new apparel, the off field workout wear. I'm just curious, as a coach that got to experience it for 5 years, what's that process like every year in terms of getting fitted? Is there like an order form you fill out? Is there a table with a whole bunch of stuff you just kid in a candy store, go grab what you want? What's that process like? It's something that I've been super jealous of and just something I've always wanted to know.
That's really cool. As a coach, I try not to get too involved in the free stuff's amazing. The greatest thing about the big leagues is like the food and the free stuff. And so I try to stay away from the free stuff because it's terrible. And I definitely try to stay away from the food because you gain about 40 pounds. You can gain 40 pounds in a heartbeat there. So the fitting stuff is great. They come in, and the big leagues is awesome because like if you're at 34 waist and you're not quite a 34, you're not quite a 36, you can get like a 34 and a third or a 34 and 7/8. So no matter who you are, your uniform should look pretty good on you. So that saved me a lot. I look better in a uniform in the big leagues than I ever did in the minor leagues. So that's really cool. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff as a coaches and players you kind of take for advantage. The shoes is the big one for me. Like the shoes is the thing that the guys, they have the most pride in the shoes. I find it kind of funny now and I make fun because I work with the Giants now. We got a lot of young coaches and they like fancy shoes and some of the shoes they wear. Like if I had ever worn some of the shoes that some of these young coaches wear now, like not only would they have not made it through the game, but they would have been probably burned in the clubhouse. They would have been taken off. Everything I own would have been taken out of my locker. And these guys, wearing these shoes around Donaldson or Bautista or these guys like that, they would have absolutely killed me. So as a coach, you're kind of an onlooker. I kind of take your tact. I kind of look at it. I'm amazed by it. I think it's pretty cool. But I tried not to get too fancy in the things that I wore and try not to take too much free stuff from everybody.
For sure. And I guess so just a follow-up question. It's kind of funny. Through 24 to 2018, I guess there was maybe a bit of a change. Maybe you noticed you wore the number 34, but there was a number 34 that kind of entered another league just down the street from you guys. Was there a bit of a transition period not being the favorite number 34 in Toronto anymore?
It's funny. I was at the awards banquet for the NHL in Vegas a couple years ago, and I was talking to him and his agent. I'm like, man, I used to be the best 34 in town. You're nuts. That was good. It didn't last very long. In fact, he wore 34 because he was a skinny kid when he came in, and I guess Babcock said he wanted him to look bigger, and so the 34s were like the widest numbers, and that's why he got him. So yeah, pretty soon I was not the most favorite 34 in Toronto. That's for sure.
Awesome. Just wanted to clear that up.
Well, I can attest, yeah, Austin Matthews is a pretty good player. So he got a few fans down in Toronto now. I'm going to steal Max's question about this Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh, geez. You didn't even give me a signal or anything.
No, I'm stealing the question, Max.
Jeez, okay.
So Teoscar Hernandez, everybody saw that he had the tools. Me and Max have talked about him a lot. You could see that he had a little bit of everything. And then last year he kind of put it all together and had a really nice season. So what do you think the biggest change in his game was that allowed him to reach that level last season? And do you think he can do it again going forward?
Well, that's such a great question. He was so good last year, like really, really good. And, I think you read some things the last few days about the belief in himself. Having Dante Bichette in that clubhouse, for me, really changed a lot of things last year. I talked about earlier. I talked about Grichuk. I talked about Rowdy and Teoscar especially. I mean, Teoscar was a guy that would kind of overswing a lot. He was a guy that had good strike zone discipline, but would kind of change his approach every once in a while, just depending on how he's feeling. He would go through streaks where he didn't make a lot of contact, and it kind of affected a lot of his game. Last year, the one thing I saw in him was great. He never overslung. If he got deep into a count, he didn't try to do too much. When he's taking hits on 3-2 pitches to right field and not trying to overdo things, man, he was dangerous last year. He was spitting on pitches, taking pitches that were really, really good pitches that were just like borderline strikes, and he was getting his pitch to hit, and he wasn't trying to do too much with them. And when he did that, the damage he did was amazing. I think his OPS was somewhere around 980 or something last year. And I think just the influence of Dante Bichette, who is, quote, an old school guy, let the ball get deep, let it travel, don't strike out, I think it had an effect, especially on Teoscar. And he even says so. It had a huge effect on Grichuk, had a huge effect on Tellez. And I also think it made their hitting coach Guillermo Hernandez kind of open up to a lot of things too. So having a guy with that experience, having a guy that the players having a guy that really, really visibly made a difference in the hitters' approaches, I thought that was one of the biggest things that they did last year. And it can only get better from here. I know he's not going to be there full time this year, but his impact on the team has been gigantic. And what Teoscar did last year he was dangerous. He was one of the best players in the American League, one of the most dangerous hitters, and he changed the game a lot. And he's a great guy. He's one of the most friendliest, nicest human beings. I know when my son was born, when I brought him in the clubhouse, he's the first guy there. He's talking to him. He's just so genuine, and it's nice to see him have the success he did. And I hope he continues it this year, and there's no reason why he shouldn't.
Absolutely.
He was one of the first Blue Jays that liked one of our posts on Instagram. Remember that?
We were feeling pretty puff-chested that day. Yeah, absolutely. No,
we said he should get a bunch of money on his next contract, and he liked that.
Yeah,
go figure.
Yeah, go figure. And you know what? Just a guy like you said, you want to see do well. He does seem just like a genuine guy that loves the game, and it's great to see him take strides forward. But Tim, we've prodded you a lot about your former job tonight, but I think, are you breaking some news here? I know that you alluded to earlier a couple questions ago. You've got a role with the Giants now. Can you talk about what's going on now and what your roles are in the game still?
But yeah, last year I took 1 year off, which was actually really awesome because I never had a summer off in 35 years and got to spend it up here north of. We got a place real north of Toronto, so we're in Muskoka. There's lakes and it was a Canadian summer. It was great, and it's hard to go back after that. But so I took a job as a roving outfield and base running instructor for the San Francisco Giants. Went into spring training last year, was all excited, got a haircut before I went in.
No.
Last February 14th.
No.
And that was the last one I've ever had. So the COVID hit, and we've been able to do a lot. There's a ton of stuff we're doing. A lot of the stuff we've been doing is coaching coaches. I've been coaching young coaches and how to teach base running and teach outfield better. We haven't had a chance to get the players, but we're with them on Zoom as much as we can be and trying to do as much as we can. So here we're on a race right now between everybody getting vaccinated and hopefully not going through one more wave. And these guys are probably going to get a chance to play this year. And it's been, it was hard for the big league guys and they only played 60 games. But for these minor league guys that missed a whole season of development, your heart goes out to them, man. Because for a lot of them, a lot of guys lost jobs during this. And for a guy who's young and they need games and they need to play. They need to do those things to get better, and they need reps. So it's just going to be great to get those guys back out on the field. I don't know what it's going to look like. Obviously, we're very reactionary to what happens in the major leagues and in terms of the virus of how much we can get on the field. But, if you're looking like by the middle of summer, these guys are going to be able to play again. I think it's going to be great. And my job is just to kind of oversee them in development and kind of hope that when they get to the big leagues, they're as comfortable as they can be. Because once you get to the big leagues, it speeds up on you real quick. There's a lot going on. It's a difficult game. I mean, you're trying to just to survive and be there every single day. But the other thing is you got to go out and compete and win. And our job is to just get them ready. And when they're in the big leagues for the first time, even though there's all that stuff going on, you want them to feel comfortable, feel at home, and you want them to make good decisions that make them stay there. Because once they get there, getting there is one thing, staying there is another one. And that's what we try to drive home with these guys.
So we got a lot of questions coming in from the fans, so I'm going to get to a few fan comments, and then we'll let you go, Tim, if that's all right. But one of the questions was from Dylan McDonald. I think Dylan is from Toronto. He said, Tim's super nice guy. We miss him so much here in Toronto. So that, I guess, answered my question. He's from Toronto. Mike Ramage, I held up the Baseball Saskatchewan banner earlier. So Mike Ramage is a pretty high executive over at Baseball Saskatchewan, and he's friends with a good, I know you've mentioned before, Dustin Mulliken, who's from here in Regina. So Mike, yes. Yeah, I can hear this already. I know this is going. Mike Ramage is asking, ask Leap what his most memorable experiences was with Baseball Canada. Was it the Canada-Mexico brawl at the World Baseball Classic, or was it Molly singing "Oh Canada" at the front of the bus? I want to hear that story. I think.
It is always great. I've heard Molly sing "Oh Canada" like in Italy and almost every continent of the world. It's always awesome when he sings because he sings really well. Like it's unbelievable. Any day with Molly is a good day, and he's a competitor. He's awesome. He's pitched a lot of huge games for us in Baseball Canada. I mean, he pitched our bronze medal finish in Italy in the World Cup in 2009 was like one of the best performances I've ever seen. And it was at that time, it was our highest finish in an international tournament. So Molly's such a huge part of Baseball Canada. He's awesome. I know he's teaching lessons there. Like if you have a chance to get down there and learn from him, you're going to learn a ton. And mostly you're going to learn how to be a competitor because he's tremendous. In terms of like Baseball Canada moments, like this has been literally the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I've been really lucky to be a part of Baseball Canada that's gone to the Olympics, that's played in World Baseball Classics, and then to be a part of the Blue Jays. So like Canada's like my home for baseball. But I think the first World Baseball Classic game we played was against South Africa. It was a team legitimately full of high school players, and they were winning going into the ninth inning, and we won. We ended up pulling it out in the ninth inning. Ryan Radmanovich hit a home run. Corey Koski hit one. A guy dropped the ball in center field. It was really how we almost beat a team full of high school guys. And the next day we were playing the best team in the world in the USA, that had A-Rod at the time. I mean, you name it. They were great. And we went up 8-0 on them in like 3 innings. It's like, how the heck did this happen? So that was probably one of my greatest moments was doing that, because I mean, going in the clubhouse after beating USA, after almost losing to South Africa the night before, was really surreal. But I remember I was one of the first ones in the clubhouse, and everybody had their cell phones in their pocket and they were on. And obviously everybody's family was calling the players, all excited. But I heard like 30 different cell phone rings when I walked into the clubhouse that day. And that was pretty cool. It was a great moment, like to qualify for the Olympics in Athens in 2004. We were in Panama. Justin Morneau was on that team. Russ Martin was on that team. He didn't play, but he was on that team. Stebby Clapp, obviously. Like every time we get together, it's such a great moment. And when the guys play for Canada, it's a big deal. Andrew Albers pitched one of the greatest games I've ever seen for us in a gold medal game that won us our first Pan Am gold. That was like just a gutty performance. I mean, I'm thinking about getting chills right now. So like, there's just so many of them. It's so great. It's too bad they're not televised more and you get a chance to see them. But like, for one thing, especially the guys from Saskatchewan have played a huge part in the strength of our program. And it's wonderful to be a part of. When you get to play with the name of your country across your chest, it's always great.
Well, me and Max are both baseball players from back in the day, Tim. And, one thing that I've noticed since I was training as a 14, 15, 16-year-old is, there's a ton of indoor training facilities popping up in Saskatchewan. So you mentioned there's a lot of Saskatchewan players. Well, there's been a big investment, and Mike Ramage, to his credit, has been a big part of it. So I'm glad he's commenting because I can pump his tires a little bit. But Baseball Sask has had a huge skyrocket in talent, and a lot of it has to do with all these indoor training facilities. Guys like Dustin Mulliken coming back. I got to say, one time when I was, I think, 16 years old, we were at a place called Triple Play Sports, which isn't around anymore.
I do remember.
But it's now actually a brewery. So. Good career move, I think, for that building.
That's a great transition right there.
Yeah, great transition. But Dustin was there, and I think he was coming off, like, he would have been, I don't know how much older he is than I am, but he would have been like 24, 25, probably coming off A-ball or double-A maybe. And he comes back and he's training with us, and he was, warming up and just throwing peas, right? Like
I've never heard a mitt pop
No.
like that from the first time I watched Dustin Mulliken.
So we, as 16-year-olds who haven't seen maybe more than a 75-mile-an-hour fastball at this point, we're all freaking out because he's there. And he's like, hey, do you guys mind if I throw you some live batting practice? He just needed somebody to stand in there so that he could throw to a batter. And I was like, I'll do it. So I go in, had never seen more than 75. He's throwing 92-mile-an-hour cutters, and I'm just like, what do I do? So that's my Dustin Mulliken story. But there's another question here for you, and I want to get this in, and then we'll let you go. This is the last one. Dylan McDonald, he tweets in Facebook, YouTube. Who's watching? I don't know.
All the platforms.
It's on YouTube. But this is, I remember the game where Tim and Gibbons both got tossed for arguing with the umpire. Tim never got tossed. You were usually the guy in between Gibby and the umpires breaking them up. So do you remember the game where you both got tossed, and can you tell us a bit of the story?
Was Angel Hernandez the umpire?
No, it was actually like really good umpires. And Dale Scott was the guy who got me, who's one of the nicest people in the world. And there's a great story behind this also, because it was the fight game. It was the fight game against Texas.
Oh, it was? Okay.
It was a Sunday. And yeah, this is great. So they would quick pitch us and they balked, and it was Sunday and I was tired. It was the end of a road trip. And I said something to Dale Scott. He said something to me, which I think he misspoke. And I just let into him and whatever. I don't know. I don't know why. I say, first base coach, you should never get kicked out of a game, but I did anyway. So I went in the clubhouse, and then literally like 5 minutes later, Gibby came in. So we're sitting there, and we had played Texas at home, and this was the fourth game of a 4-game series in Texas. And so we were there, and we actually broke open a bottle of wine, and we were sitting at his desk just watching the game on TV, drinking wine, just talking, right? And Gibby's was the coolest guy with he how you perceive Gibby is exactly how he is. So we're having wine, and then Bautista gets up and they hit him. And right when they hit him, Gibby just he has his feet on his desk. We got wine going. He just puts on his hat, and he kind of stands up. And so, sure enough, it took a little while for Jose to get to first base. So the next batter up hits a ground ball to short. And as soon as he hits the ball to short, Gibby starts walking. And then, remember, Jose slid in hard. Odor went low with the throw and almost took his head off. But yeah, as Gibby's walking out the door, he says, "Let's go." And just walks. Now, from the office, and you can hear him, you hear his voice, right? So from the office in Texas, you have to walk through basically the concourse underneath the stadium, and there's a long tunnel, and you go through. Gibby never walked fast. He's not the fastest walker, but he just kind of just casually walked and just went out and just joined the middle of the pile. Now, if you're a guy who gets thrown out of a game, you go back on the field, it's huge. So for me, I can't do it. So I ended up going in the dugout, but Gibby walked right into the middle of the pile and I just started talking. And then Jeff Bannister was making a scene. And the greatest thing about it was, it was gutless. They literally had 7 games to get him. Why would they hit him in that situation? It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. It was a really kind of I don't know. Is there an editor on here? It was a chicken S word thing to do.
Hey, we're the late night show, Tim. You can say it. You can say it. We're the late night show.
so I'll say, well, you get it. So Gibby just kept going. The Bannister, he said, "Hey, you're gutless." And he just, that's why I said, you're gutless. And then Bannister made a big deal about it and stuff, but it was great. The fact that he just walked on the field, walked in the middle of the pile, like it was too surreal. And it was actually it was such a great memory. And it said a lot about him to go back out there and be there in the middle of that first team. Because I got suspended too, just for going back in the dugout. He got suspended. We took our games against Tampa, and it was great. The game the game I was in the box with him, I think he got 2 games, I got 1, but like we lost like 14-1. Like there was never a better time not to be on the field than that time. So we set up there, ate ice cream, ate wings, got a little bit fatter, and it was all good. And we ended up, that was a great year for us too. I was really fortunate, man, because I think our staff and the work under John and just to be as close as we were, like we went through a really special time here, and man, I'm really thankful for it. And it was a lot of fun. It was great to do it up here in Canada too.
Well, I think the other best part of that story is that Gibby was like a glass or 2 of wine deep when he went out onto the field too. So just makes it that much better. Makes it that much better.
We all agree though, Tim, it was a chicken shit move. Absolutely it was. We'll say it.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's funny because I went to interview with the Rangers too later, and then and we talked about it, and it was kind of fun getting their whole perspective on it too. Like our job, we just played baseball. We didn't care. We thought we were going to beat you, man. But the Rangers had concocted a whole bunch of like subplots, and it helped us. I mean, we went to the playoffs that year, and we swept them in 3 games. Sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Tim, that's gonna do it. We're out of time, but this was an amazing chat. Thanks so much for jumping in with us today, talking a little baseball. Hopefully it all goes well with you with your new role with the Giants. I'm super excited for you there. And hey, we will try to get you on before too long because this was too good not to.
Thanks a ton, Tim. Appreciate it.
That's great. I always enjoy talking to you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Good talking to you.
Thank you. That was, of course, Tim Leiper. Wow, that was something else, Max.
That was fantastic.
I'm so glad that Dylan McDonald asked that question because that was probably the best part of the interview, just talking about Gibby running out onto the field.
You forget John Gibbons. You don't forget John Gibbons. It was just such a figure in Toronto, right? And it was just, that's awesome to hear those kinds of stories, though. I love it.
So, of course, we have to mention that our video call guests are always brought to you by IKS Media. IKS Media is your premier destination for event planning, live broadcasts, entertainment, and apparently hub cities.
Yes,
hubs. I should say that differently. Hub cities.
I
said that weird.
Hub cities.
But yeah, WHL is using IKS Media, I will say, for their WHL Hub City coming up.
Easiest call they probably had to make. That's
Absolutely.
For sure.
At IKS, it is always the best seat in the house. We are going to a break right now. We're coming back with our good buddy Habib from Hooplife Basketball. We're talking NBA and a whole lot more. We'll see you after the break. Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Peterson Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Everyday Hooplife.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals, video production, event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website, IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
All right, hey, we are back from a break. Again, unreal chat with Tim Leiper. So pumped that he was able to join us tonight. And we're joined by another special guest right now. Max is out. We kicked him out. And we're bringing in Habib from the bench from Hooplife Basketball. Habib, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Love having you in here. We got some great stuff to talk about. So much stuff's happening in the NBA. We just talked about the All-Star game in the break. They just announced all the stuff, and you're like, oh, I got to check my phone. I'm like, oh, I got it. I got you. So there's some news going on. But first off, the NBA in general has been, up and down. A couple teams missing games for COVID, unfortunately. But the Raptors being one of them recently, unfortunately, again. But, it's funny. There was rumors that Kyle Lowry was going to be the coach of the team for a little bit, for like a game or two. They only had like 6 players or something available, so they just canceled the game. So overall, just in terms of the Raptors themselves, I know you haven't been all of Raptors because you're a big Lakers guy, and I know you're a West Conference guy, but how do you think the Raptors have been doing overall, just in general?
I think they've been doing good.
Pull that mic right in for you. Yeah,
here.
Right up close.
You guys can hear me?
There you
Good.
go. There you go.
I think they've been pretty good, especially considering like with what's been happening and them losing players due to COVID and everything. Kyle Lowry's stepping up. Fred, man.
Freddie. And Siakam's having a nice year, too.
Exactly.
I just saw his numbers. I think he's like 20.5, 7 rebounds or 7 or 8 rebounds, and I think like 6 assists a game or something.
Yeah.
So he's doing his job.
Yeah, no, man. He's definitely contributing, and I think the biggest part is just them being consistent. And Fred literally has to lead that team. It can't just be on Kyle.
Yeah.
I think Nick Nurse is just going to do a good job of just leading them, too. So they got to come together. I say this everywhere I go. They got a nation behind them.
Yeah.
So that takes something. So hopefully he figure it out.
I have been playing a lot of NBA 2K in the last 6 weeks. So I feel like I know absolutely everything there is to know about the NBA. However, one thing I didn't know was that the Knicks are in 4th place right now. So talk about the Knicks, because they're kind of surging when nobody really saw it coming necessarily.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in New York are losing their mind.
Yeah.
They're 4th in the East, which is unreal considered how they've been crappy for like
a while.
So I feel bad. I can't even say, oh, I saw this coming. I'm not a huge Knicks fan, man. I'm LA all the way. But I know you got to be happy for them. Tom Thibodeau, he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
And you got to tip your hat off to their big star, Julius Randle.
Julius Randle has been kind of a revelation, right?
Yeah, exactly. What is he averaging? 23 points, 11 rebounds, and I think he's shooting like 42% from the three-point line. So,
yeah. And for a guy who's been kind of a bench guy, like a 6th man, so to speak, for a lot of his career, maybe not the star of the team, it's kind of it's crazy to see him now at that level.
Transition. He's like, I think, number 1 or 2 in minutes played per game.
Wow.
So like
they're just riding them.
They're running it, man.
So another one, the Nets. So this happened. I think you've been on the show, or at least Andrew has, since the Nets made the big James Harden trade. But
right.
They're 9-1 in their last 10. So it's coming together. One of our good friends, I don't know if he's still watching, Snowman, Brian Snow, are you there? I know he's been commenting like crazy on Facebook. He's like, nope, the Nets still aren't good enough. Nope, they're not good enough. They're not a team. He's probably going to comment now, I hope, anyways. But what do you think about the Nets? Like, are they legit? Do you think that they can still just keep outscoring opponents, or what do you think they got going on right now?
Okay, I think I was on another talk show, Locker Talk, and I mentioned that their defense was horrible. They were allowing over 123 points per game.
Oof.
And not having KD there is definitely going to hurt. But you got to give them their credit. Like, you got to give them their flowers right now. Harden is balling out. Mm-hmm. He's hooping and he's putting up numbers. He's really playing like an MVP caliber player right now. And it's just, it's tough to really say anything with injuries happening and KD being one of the best players to play this game out. It's tough. I really hope they kind of figure things out. Harden's gonna keep making plays happen. And
Yeah.
I think Kyrie, if he stops missing games, definitely they're going to.
Well, is there any birthdays coming up? Because he might miss another game or two.
Yeah, no, I find him super, super weird. But, like,
Yeah.
man, sometimes, though, like, you got to. The whole NBA logo change thing, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the notes. Like, what do you think about that? Has there actually been talks, or is that just a lot of fans wanting it?
Yeah, feel like he's head spearing that whole campaign right now. I'm a huge Kobe fan. I think definitely, man, that would be so cool for that to happen. But from the business point of view, it's just like that's a logistical nightmare for the NBA, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in that logo. So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. I'd be curious to see how they would design it. Like, would they completely change it? Would it be Kobe flying through the air? Like, what would it be would it still be a silhouette? Like, I'd love to see ideas. I'd like to see ideas.
I think, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to have a lot of input in it, but it'd be amazing to be Kobe, but who knows?
So, speaking of your Lakers, Anthony Davis is hurt. Is that correct? Can you tell me the situation? Like, what's going on with the Lakers right now? Do they need to add right now, or do they have enough depth?
No, so like they're second in the West.
Yeah.
So which is still good. But they lost their big monster. So I think it's he kind of aggravated his Achilles and his calf. So they're saying he might return in 4 weeks, which is awesome. And that's kind of getting the Lakers fan excited. But they're trying to figure some stuff out. I read this article that they're really considering Andre Drummond from the Cavs, but he got that $28 million contract.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, so they got to do a buyout, and then hopefully they can sign him then. But, they just signed, was it Dante Jones for 10 days from the G League for a 10-day contract. Yeah. So I think he did great for his first game. And
Fill in a little bit.
Yeah, but just figuring it out slowly.
I saw DeMarcus Cousins, I think, was going to maybe get bought out, so I could see him popping back over there, try again.
Yeah.
One thing I saw I think it was just this morning. Last night, LaMelo played Carmelo in the Battle of the Mellows, and they swapped jerseys at the end. So I was talking to, I can't remember who it was, but they said that nobody born before or after, I should say, 2004 knows that Carmelo was the original Melo, and that everyone thinks that LaMelo Ball, he's like the first Melo. So my nephew, I asked him, he was born in 2004, and I said, what do you think? Like, is Carmelo, like, you know who Carmelo is, right? He's like, of course I do. But he's a basketball player, of course. So what do you think of LaMelo Ball this year? He's kind of been unbelievable, like just in general with the Hornets. What do you think about him? And like the Hornets as a team, they're coming along pretty good too.
Oh, Andrew and I both love LaMelo Ball. Like he's we think he should have been number one, but Anthony Edwards, he's balling out too, so you got to give him his credits. But
at least he is playing well, because it wouldn't be like a Durant, Greg Oden situation from back in the day where Oden played like 30 career games or something,
and then he's done for the.
Yeah.
But no, man, they're doing great. I think he's just such a great addition to the team. Michael Jordan knows what he's doing. Just they're gonna get jersey sales, everything, and to be honest, they just gotta invest in that kid. They got to invest in him. He can play ball. He's smart. And even Draymond Green just the other day said he really liked him. So for Draymond to go out of the way and say that about another rookie, that says a lot on. And LeVar, man, say what you say about LeVar. He's an amazing dad, and I support LeVar, man. He did great with all his boys. Hopefully Jello can get in the league soon. Yeah. But the Hornets, that's a good team, man. Terry Rozier is hooping out, and hopefully they
best court in the league with the honeycomb.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, the honeycomb design and the light blue. The jerseys too. I've always loved the Hornets jerseys. I feel like they're the most underrated jersey in the NBA.
Yeah, man.
That light blue with I just love it. I've always loved their logo too. One thing we just talked about it, but the All-Star game just made their announcements for skills competition, slam dunk, and 3-point contest. The skills competition was wild because it's usually like point guards, right? Like speedy guys who can run around. There's 4 power forwards in it this year. Sabonis, Covington, I can't think of the other 2. And then Chris Paul is in it, and somebody else who's really good at that kind of stuff. But I was like, is it the same? Because he's usually like running around obstacles, passes, and then a layup or whatever.
And then I think
sprinting.
they got to end on that 3 now. Or?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if they changed it or what. But I was like, I don't know if these power forwards have a chance.
I like Sabonis.
Well, yeah, sure. But isn't he like 7 feet tall?
I guess he's going against Chris Paul though.
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. So we won't get into that. But the slam dunk contest. Now, this was an interesting one because it's young guys. It's Obi Toppin or Obi Toppin?
I think it's I'm gonna say it's Obi.
Obi Toppin, Anthony Simons, and Cassius Stanley are the 3 contestants in the slam dunk competition. If you had to guess, who would you pick in that?
Probably go with Obi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that because, again, I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K. I feel like the other 2 guys are like point guards, aren't they? Simons and Stanley. I'm pretty sure they're point guards. Yeah. Toppin's like a small forward, power forward, isn't he? He's like somewhere in there.
So I honestly, hopefully, like, I want to see Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine go at it. That's all I kind of want to see.
I know.
So
and I was, but Zach LaVine's busy, and we'll get into that in a sec here. But the 3-point contest is now there's some studs in this one. Devin Booker, one of my favorite players in the league. Jaylen Brown, Steph Curry, of course. Zach LaVine's in the 3-point contest. Yeah. Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. So if you had to pick one of those guys, two Celtics I thought was interesting. But if you had to pick one to win the 3 points, Steph.
Okay, yeah, like I would be. You call me a dumbass right on here if I didn't choose Steph. Like, think about it though. Like, I think Devin Booker is going to be really good. Zach LaVine's just shooting the lights out, but.
I mean, it's
Steph Curry.
So I saw a tweet, and this will be the last one I ask you because this was interesting. I was actually asking Max just before he went on the air. Max is like hiding down here, by the way. So this tweet said, obviously Steph Curry is the best of all time. If you had to pick a second best of all time, now I hope I don't put you on the spot here too much, but second best 3-point shooter of all time, the options on this poll that I saw were Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Klay Thompson, and Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, okay.
Which I thought was that's an interesting choice for best of all time, but I said Reggie Miller.
Okay, that's tough. I honestly, when you were saying that, like, one of the best shooters, I used to be obsessed with Reggie Miller. Like, we should try to shoot like him and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, Ray Allen was great.
So good.
But
the corner threes that Ray Allen hit at the end of his career were like legendary.
There's a reason why LeBron started, man.
There's a reason why LeBron has a couple rings is because Ray Allen was such a good spot-up shooter. But Reggie Miller, to me, was just so dominant in his trash talk. And
I love that.
The game, I was telling Max, the game where he scored like 10 points in like 20 seconds or whatever it was, I remember watching that game live as a kid. And I was like, oh, this guy's the best player in the league, right? And I didn't know much about Michael Jordan at the time. I was pretty young. But anyways, the CEBL is kicking off. And I know you guys have a partnership with the Rattlers, Basketball Saskatchewan, and all the such. So are you excited to get that going again? Like, you got to be pretty pumped for Canadian basketball for that league to come back.
Yo, those games are the most hypest thing we've ever been to. The players' interaction with the fans, just the way the whole setup is. The CBL is just doing a great job, just making sure, like, hey, we're here and we're here to stay. So hopefully, I think they released the dates.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So we're gonna definitely hit them up. So hopefully,
we can go to games because I remember. We work for the Rob Peterson show as well, of course, and they went to a bunch of games when they had games, and they were like, "This is amazing," I never got to go. So I'm hoping I get to one day. I know a couple people that work for the team. Raul Garcia, shout out Raul.
Shout out Raul.
Shout out Raul. 2 more for you. So I guess Max is saying that Disney Plus just added Like Mike, the movie Like Mike. So you must have an all-time favorite basketball movie. What's yours? And is there anything that goes on at Hooplife where you like reference basketball movies all the time?
Yeah. Wow, I got to check that out, by the way.
Yeah, Like Mike, it's good.
Disney Plus is amazing too. I think, wow, there's so many.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot because there's a couple of good basketball movies out there.
I know. I have to say Coach Carter.
Coach Carter, yeah.
Okay, Samuel L. Jackson just killed it in it, and to be honest, I don't even want to say what we say online.
That's fair. You know what? Good move. Good
We're
choice.
just gonna leave that there, but no, there's a lot of quotes that goes on. For
I'm sure there
movies.
is. Shout out to One Tree Hill. Underrated basketball show.
Yo, so good.
So good,
So
right?
good,
I thought you were going to chirp me there for a sec,
No,
but I'm a big One Tree Hill guy. Nathan
Yeah,
Scott.
Nathan's the boy.
Oh, man. So what's up at Hooplife? Speaking of Hooplife, I know you guys have the app that Andrew was telling us about last time we had you guys on.
Yeah.
What's up for the summer? Like, I know the spring's coming up here right away. I know the season was kind of messed up, but what's going on with you guys over there right now?
Oh man, it's been a weird year, right? But I think we've been slowly bouncing back, trying to figure things out, being innovative, making sure our members and clients are kind of taken care of. But yeah, we have some amazing news. Unfortunately, I can't share it right now.
Well, that's a good reason to have you back.
Yeah, but we'll definitely come and share it here. But
Nice.
we have great things coming up for Regina, even for Saskatchewan.
Good.
We want basketball to grow in this province, in this city. So we got a bunch of great things planned. So everyone just got to tune in. And
All right, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Where can everybody follow you? So your website, social media, all that stuff.
We're everywhere. Instagram, Hooplife, Facebook.
Yeah.
The Real Hooplife Basketball.
Yeah.
So you guys just gotta hit us up. And phone numbers, everything's on our website too. So
hooplifebasketball.com is your website, so check it out there. I mean, we say it every show, so if you don't know by now, what are you doing? Listen up.
And we got Squad 10 too.
Yeah, Squad 10, 10% off. All camps, sessions, and apparel. I have it written down. Robin Wildey's making a great point. This might be overlooked, but who are you kidding? The best basketball movie is Space Jam.
Dude.
I feel bad now that we didn't say that, but Above the Rim. Somebody's saying not Kerr, and he's a Bulls fan, so for the best shooter of all time.
Yeah, well, you got to agree with them.
Was the better color for the Raptors purple or red? Well, you're a Lakers guy, so you're going to say purple probably,
Yeah, definitely.
I would think,
that
right?
Purple with that.
Well, we have it on the wall right behind me,
Yeah.
Jordan. Where is it? Can you go to the wide shot? There it is.
There
Vince
you go,
Carter.
yeah.
The
That's-
white pinstripe, red and purple, and whatever else they had on there. What else do we have for questions here? Let me just scroll. We had a couple guys commenting in. Producer
say
Alan
Airbud?
is, yeah, Airbud. Of course, Airbud. We got to say Airbud. Let's see. There's a couple of good basketball movies too. Producer Alan is saying the new logo should be Kobe's fadeaway. Should be the new logo. This is a good question. I'll leave you with this one. But so why is the East so weak this year? Chad Isaac's asking. You don't see it on the screen, but why is the Eastern Conference so weak this year? 4 out of the 8 current teams are above 500. Sorry, 4 out of the 8 current playoff teams are above 500. 9 are above 500 in the West. The Bulls are 16 and 18, and they're a game out of the playoffs. So I know that basketball is kind of like traveling with your buddies to the next superpower team.
Yeah.
So we saw who leave from the East. We saw a bunch of guys go west this offseason. So, is it just a simple fact of, players jumping teams and that's just kind of how it is right now? Because the East, they were pretty good for quite a while. Yeah. And then now LeBron's in the West and everybody else is in the West. So is that kind of just how it works in the NBA?
I think, I think everyone's rich now. They're making a lot of money. They want to win some rings, right? So, I'm for guys teaming up.
Yeah.
Seriously, if I was the other guys, I'll just hit up another guy, be like, "Yo, let's do this.
Yeah.
We're all rich. Let's figure it out." But
win a couple championships.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And to be honest, I don't understand why people don't go to the East. Why LeBron and my Lakers are in the West. Why would you want to deal with that?
Avoid that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kawhi Leonard, I guess. Paul George went West.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the guys in my head who all went West. But anyways, Habib, thanks for coming in.
Dude.
Love having you in, and we're gonna do it again soon. And I'm really looking forward to that news.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're gonna release it here, but
love it.
Yeah, no, I hope everyone tunes in, and
yes,
it's gonna be exciting.
Well, make sure you guys head over to hooplifebasketball.com and check everything out. And they got some big news, so we will stay right on top of it. We're gonna come back after the break with a hockey segment. I know we're already over the over of time limit because somebody said 8:30 was the over-under on time. It's already after that. So, hey, we got nothing to lose now. We'll see you after the break. Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Peterson Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Everyday Hooplife. Let's get it, baby.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Max just said that the Predators are losing. So
yeah.
we're just
The streak's over.
We're gonna cover up the Preds
The streak's
jersey.
over. UC Soros is out.
Yeah.
Let's just add to the injury list.
UC
guys want
Soros is out.
Yeah, Soros got hurt.
I thought for some reason you meant Roman Yossi, and I was like,
No.
Oh, wow.
Well, if Yossi goes down, we're not
Tank
winning a game for
mode.
the rest of the year.
Tank mode.
We'll be all right.
Man, we have such a good night. This is unbelievable. We have a hockey segment coming up, but just to recap, Tim Leiper had that was so good.
I don't know how we're gonna top that.
I didn't even expect that Gibby question to come out at the
that
end.
was excellent.
I wasn't even going to ask it, and then I saw it. Dylan McDonald, shout out to you because that was a great question, and I'm so glad we asked it. Habib just crushed basketball talk.
Man, love hearing from Habib all the time.
So we are going to have them in again soon. I'm pumped to hear what their news is. I don't even know what their news is.
Big tease. That was a big tease from Habib.
They wouldn't tell us, so I got to figure it out. We got to have them in again.
To hearing it though.
So we're getting into our hockey segment now, which we don't really have a name for yet, but our segment 4 is our feet up over our knees segment, I guess. So
I don't know if I could do that right now.
You're a little sore. You were just squatting. You were just squatting the whole time last segment.
Hooplife, I need you guys to hook me up with some training sessions and just whoop my ass into shape.
Check out hooplifebasketball.com. Squad 10.
I get 10% off.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We got it. So there's a lot to talk about in the NHL, and we kind of mentioned a few of the things earlier in the show in our first opening segment. But we wanted to make sure we talked about you guys, whatever you guys want to talk about as well. So now's the time, hockey fans. If you're still checking in, you're still checking out the show, make sure you, A, vote on our poll. That should be right around here somewhere for you guys. Also, but B, send in your questions. So we see one here from Chad. We'll start it off with Chad. Any news on the SJHL? The AJHL starts on March 12th, and I haven't heard anything about the BC League. So, Chad, I'm not going to say that I have inside sources, but I have heard that they are still working their butts off at the SJHL to have some form of gameplay. So I'm not saying that they're going to. I'm saying that I have heard from somebody that they are still trying their butts off to get something happening before it's too late for this season.
Love to see that for the kids.
I think that they are going to probably use some different sources like the AJ, what the WHL is doing, and they'll work on something. I think they want to get something going because those players deserve a chance too.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's been a ton. There's some questions earlier in the show, but Max, one of the things that we wanted to talk about off the top, and this was a great segment. If you haven't seen it, I think we retweeted it earlier today. So go check out the Team RP Show account at Team RP Show on Twitter or at Rod Peterson Show, because I definitely retweeted it there. But John Scott, who's going to be on the Rod Peterson Show tomorrow, by the way. John Scott.
Good get, Clark.
Thank you.
We'll get you a T-shirt.
He's a friend of the show. I had his number, so I just sent him a quick text. He answered me.
Not a big deal, hey?
No big deal.
How's Brian Burke coming?
Haven't heard back.
TBD?
I haven't heard back from
Brian. Just want to throw
Brian.
that grenade in there, you know?
So John Scott said in a great Twitter clip that, the North Division is not good. They're bad teams, and that they're going to get wrecked. And Max, what have we been saying? What have I been saying for a couple weeks now?
Well, you've been saying a lot.
I've been saying a lot. But one of the things that I've been saying was that I'm worried as a Maple Leafs fan, I'll just say it, but as a Canadian hockey fan, that these teams are playing teams that don't challenge them enough. And once they get to the Final Four, they're going to get shell-shocked. I asked Joel Henderson last week. I've asked other guests this as well. But yeah, I'm worried that once the Leafs or the Canadians or the Jets or whoever it is.
You don't have to name the other teams. You're worried about the Leafs.
It's just the three, really. Maybe the Habs if they figure it out. But if they get to the Final Four and they play Vegas or Tampa or whoever,
Carolina,
Boston, Washington, whoever
Pittsburgh.
it happens to be, they're going to get shell-shocked. Yeah. So I don't know, Max, what do you think about the North Division so far this year?
Yeah.
And where do you, I know you're following more of the Central and the Southern teams, but what do you think of the North? Can they, what do you think?
Well, I think the Leafs have clearly separated themselves.
Can you guys put up the standings picture and then go ahead, Max?
In all seriousness, I jest about your Leafs all the time, but they've clearly separated themselves, and that's what you have to worry about if you're Kyle Dubas right now is, okay, we're real good on paper, but this preseason schedule, because let's be honest, the Leafs are at the point right now where it's playoff success or bust for them.
Yeah.
There's no turning back from this, and again, if they don't get to at least the conference finals, that's catastrophic. And if they don't get there and another Canadian team does, I think they're in real trouble against some of the teams elite. We're looking down at the Central, just for example, right? It's the division I'm following, obviously, because my Preds are in it, but you've got
the hidden Preds jersey.
The hidden Preds. I don't think they'll be there. You won't have to worry about them. But anyways, you got Tampa, you got Florida, you got Carolina. Dallas has only played 16 games, and they went to the Cup final last year, and they're still without Tyler Seguin. There's some really good teams just in that division alone, and the East is even considered stronger than the Central. So, I mean, it's going to be one of those things where these teams are having a chance to play against some really stiff competition, whereas the North, it's a shootout every night. It's fun to watch the 80s style hockey.
Run and gun.
It's run and gun style hockey, but it's great to see that the Canadian boys are lighting up the league totals. They'll walk away with some individual hardware at the end of the year.
Hopefully.
I don't necessarily know they're going to be walking away with the team prize, though. That's just what I'm thinking of the North Division.
I'd love to see them win a couple of rounds. Let's just say that.
You'd like to see them win a round.
A round would be fantastic. We leave the picture up. Oh, no, take it down for a second. Question from Darren Slade. Will the Leafs shut out the Oilers for 3 games in a row? Well, I heard Austin Matthews might be coming back. I think he's going to be a game-time decision tomorrow.
Was his wrist okay?
I hope so. I've heard that Freddie Anderson practiced today, and he might be back.
Well, they don't need him. They got Hutch.
Who needs him? Get rid of Freddie. Trade him. Trade him now. There's a goalie controversy in Toronto.
Saros just got hurt. We'll take him to Nashville.
Okay, sure. Saves us a couple bucks on the salary cap.
You don't know who you're getting back in that deal.
Chad Isaac says, when you play the same teams over and over and have 2 to 3 weak teams, it makes the rest look better with no challenge. How would they face versus the rest of the league? So that's exactly our point.
I think the problem is, though, it's 4 to 5 weak teams in the North Division. Well, I really think that.
I've been arguing all along that there's 6 good teams in the North. But so far, the Flames are in turmoil. Sorry, Chad. The Oilers have been hot and cold. But
when we're talking about the Sens being one of the hottest teams in the league,
we'll get to that next.
Yeah.
The Jets have been okay.
Yeah,
I like what the Jets have been doing, and I think they might be in store for maybe an addition here down the road.
They definitely could be if the salary cap allows. I think they're a team that's nudging up close to the cap.
Yeah,
but
they are close.
You got last year's Vezina Trophy winner in between the pipes. You've got a chance.
I'd like to see how Dubois kind of develops more into that lineup.
He's looked solid. He's looked very good.
Their depth guys like Andrew Kopp has been playing really good.
What'd you say,
Adam
50
Lowry.
points.
15 points for
a
Andrew
depth
Copp.
guy. And
4
again,
goals, 11 assists.
It's a high-scoring division, but still.
Just picked them up at fantasy hockey. That's why I know. 4 goals, 11 assists.
Good pickup.
Adam Lowry's been good. You know, they got some depth pieces that up front. It's their blue line that we were always worried about.
Yeah.
But, you know, so far they're sitting
might
third.
be in contention for a trade with their former division foes for the services of Matthias Ekholm.
Oh, the Predators.
I certainly
that would make a ton of sense.
I certainly wouldn't mind seeing Ville Heinola come back.
Ooh, that would
Again,
make.
Is he playing for them consistently though? That's the thing. If he's
I'd have to
contributing
look.
now, I don't necessarily know. I believe who's our Jets fanalist here?
John
somebody in there
Ohm. John
tonight?
Ohm is usually our Jets guy.
If
but I
John
haven't
can let
seen
us
him.
know if Ville
John, wake
Heinola-
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Wake up, John.
It's a little past the bedtime, John.
Yeah.
But either way,
it's only 8:43 in Manitoba.
But long story short, for the Jets, you're right. They have to add on the blue line. There's not much there beyond Josh Morrissey and Neil Pionk. They've got to do something on the back end to solidify themselves and give themselves a chance at getting to that conference finals. But they're they're going to run up against the Leafs in round 2 likely. I'd say if we were betting men today.
Yeah, as of right now, they
it's
would.
the
Like
Leafs and
it
the
would
Jets,
be
for sure.
if they're going to do it as normal. The Leafs would play. Actually, can you guys throw the picture of the standings up again?
1 versus 4, 2 versus 3.
Yeah, if it ended today, the Leafs would play the Habs and the Oilers would play the Jets. So, man, that'd be great. So speaking of the Habs, they've lost 5 in a row.
Carey Price.
I was going to say not including they've had a coaching change in there as well.
Yeah.
But they've lost their first 2 games, I think, with their new coach. So they're not loving life in Montreal right now. The Flames, as I said, are in turmoil. They've been struggling. They're 3-6-1, I think it says, in their last 10 games. The Canucks, what does it say? They're 3-5-2.
Yeah.
And so they haven't figured it out yet. And then the Senators, of all teams, are 6-4-0 in their last 10. They've been surging. They beat the Canadians twice and the Flames in the last 3 games, I think.
And if you watch the Senators, Colin McAnulty's chiming in now. They're actually a very interesting team to watch. If I'm going to tune in and watch a North Division game, I like watching the Sens.
I'd rather watch the Sens.
I like watching Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
They're just playing a very interesting brand of hockey right now, and I'd really like to see them continue having success. I really would.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think I mentioned
TSN
it.
needs to update their logo, though. Come on, guys. They've switched back to the old one.
What, the Senators?
Yeah, like that's last year's logo now. Come
I
on.
think I said it on my Friday check-in, or maybe it was on our Saturday show. I think it was our Saturday show. By the way, we have a Saturday show now.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it. We had, I think, like a good number. It's like 700 views or something.
Fantastic.
So
That's good. Let's
thank
keep
you
those
for the
rolling.
support, everybody. Let's just take a second. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
everything we've been doing, we're
Seriously.
just flying by the seat of our pants, and you guys have been amazing. So shout out to
we need
everybody.
to do this more, but yeah, at the end of the day, we'd be nothing without you guys. 22 episodes in, and a couple of side shows for a couple of side shows.
Exactly.
Look at that, hey?
So we've been doing
thank
our
you.
Friday check-in. You guys have been awesome. I know that's kind of a tough time of the day. It's like happy hour, 4 to 5, but it's super fun to do for me, so I like doing it. And then our Saturday show, which we just started, it's going to be about 10:30 Central in the morning every Saturday. We're going to break down the day of hockey, talk about some hot topics, and then do our squad select picks, which we talked about earlier in the show.
For those that are wondering where I am during the Friday check-ins, I'm just off fighting crime in the city.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's what needs to be done in times like this. So just in case anybody's wondering where I am, Friday check-in.
Beard man is what you call yourself.
Beard boy.
Beard boy. Beard boy, yeah.
Beard boy. Better alliteration. I like it.
Yeah, so the Sens, I think, is what I was getting at, is that on our Saturday show, I think we talked about the Sens, and they're fast, they play hard. I saw that Derek Stepan is out for the year. Did you see that?
See, that's a tough blow for that team
That
because
sucks.
that's a guy they counted on for some veteran leadership, and he'd been providing it.
And not only veteran leadership, probably a trade ship that they probably could have
That
shipped
too.
to a winner, and then he would have had a great chance to
Absolutely.
win. Derek Stepan's a great player, so really that just sucks. It
Highly
sucks for
regarded
everybody.
guy.
Nobody
That was-
wins.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Senators are moving up fast. Tim Stützle wins the Rookie of the Month, which I have on
He's
record.
going to win the Rookie of the Year.
Max says it, but I have on record on Facebook. I'm saying it. I'm official. I said Tim Stützle is the Rookie of the Year and will be the Rookie of the Year. I stand by that. Jamie Anstey says we'll have you Max and Clark on the offside soon. Jamie, if you can just pass along our regards to James.
Yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
everything is okay with James. I saw his post. And yes, please, maybe me and Max could jump in and fill in for James if you
I'll
need
be
it.
nice to the Leafs. You can pass that message along to James.
Yeah. So
our
we
regards for sure.
Yeah, we'll chat soon, Jamie. I know those after games were fun, so let's keep in touch. What else do we got? Colin McAnulty's thanking you for doing this. The no longer 3D.
You know
Sens.
what though? I remember that back in the day, and this is going to be for Colin McAnulty, the days of Alexander Dagg. The old 2D logo.
I think that's a swear in Ottawa now.
It
Alexander
might be.
Dag.
It very well might be. Same draft as Paul Kariya. They kind of botched that pick. But either way.
Should we do a redraft of the Alexander Dag draft?
It was a good one. Chris Pronger went 2.
Yeah.
And then Paul Kariya went 4 to the Ducks.
Was Scott Niedermayer in that draft?
Did he go 3 to the Devils?
I'm clicking it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're redrafting.
Yeah, and you know what? They're black. Is it the reverse retros? They're black ones?
What, the Sens?
Or is that just one of their regular jerseys? Colin, help us out.
The black is the regular. The red is the reverse retro.
Either way, both of those jerseys are incredible. I absolutely love.
I love what the Sens have done a great job. And that's maybe part of the reason why I like watching them, because their jerseys are so nice.
I mean, last year was the Eugene Melnyk bashing party. The last 2 years, I think, have been. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but they're really changing things around there. I love what Pierre Dorian's done. He's accumulated picks. He's made the right picks at the draft.
Yeah.
And credit to their scouting department. They're making the most out of this. Drake Batherson, he's really coming along. There's some serious talent in Ottawa, and I'm looking forward to seeing them on the upswing.
Okay, here we go. So this is a new segment we call Who Should the Senators Have Picked in the 1993 NHL Draft? That's our new segment. We're going to do it weekly.
We're
going to do it weekly.
Just the Sens? Just pick on the Sens?
Just the Sens. Well, they had the number 1 pick. They picked Alexander Dag, who I mean, at the time he was like the Nail Yakupov of that draft. Like he was a can't miss guy who just bombed.
Can't miss guy who missed.
Yeah, he missed.
Yeah.
Chris Pronger. Chris Gratton,
number 3. He went on to have a decent career. Better than Alexander.
Paul Kariya was 4. Rob Niedermeyer was 5. Victor Kozlov, Jason Arnott, Todd Harvey. I skipped Nicholas Sundstrom. Jocelyn Thibault, Brendan Witt was a decent player.
Yeah.
Kenny Janssen, Dennis Peterson played for the Prince Albert Raiders. Shout out Robin Waldy. Spelt differently.
Oh, okay.
Adam Deadmarsh. I'm just going to say a few names now. I'm not going to say every name. Jason Allison. Saku Koivu. Todd Bertuzzi. Anders Eriksson. We're just naming names. This is fun. I like this. Sean Donovan, who went on to play for the Sens, I believe, at one point.
So are you going to stay here till midnight naming names?
Yeah, this was an 11-round draft. So buckle up. No, we're done.
Was picked in the 8th round back when they had an 8th round.
Yeah, we're done. But it's just I love redrafts. Shout out to my buddy Justin Morin, who we used to work together at the Delta Hotel here in Regina.
Nice.
And instead of working most days, we would just redraft drafts.
Nice.
And we would just
Not terribly busy at the Delta?
There was a few slow days. So we would print out the whole draft list off wherever it was, Wikipedia or HockeyDB, and we would just redraft. We would do our own, and then we would compare, and then we would do like a master list. Man, I'm telling you, Delta Hotel was some good days. Good days. So the other topic we want to talk about was your Predators a little bit before we go.
Yeah.
Max, have a couple minutes. Talk to me about the Preds, man. This is your therapy session.
Okay. They won 4-5, and that might be the highlight of our season. We talked about it earlier. The injuries are catching up with them. Ryan Ellis being out for 6 weeks. Last year when he went down against Dallas, thanks Corey Perry, that was an ugly hit. Everybody remembers that walk of shame fondly. I certainly don't. But either way, when you lose Ellis, he's easily number 2 D-man. He falls under Yossi's shadow a lot, but he does a lot of heavy lifting for that pair.
He's a guy that any team would want on that team.
100%. And he's on a friendly contract too, $6.8 million, $6.75 million. And I mean, I'm not certainly saying you get rid of him. And Elliot Friedman's, I want to say one of his latest 31 thoughts, he said there's 3 untouchables in Nashville. It's Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, Pekka Rinne. I think Philip Forsberg, I just about said Peter. Philip Forsberg has kind of played his way into that conversation. I just think that chemistry that they're developing between
He wasn't included in the untouchables.
He wasn't, but like I said, since then he's been, he's playing like he wants to stay.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, I mean, like I said, I'd like to see him sign to a long-term extension. Him and Tolvanen are developing some really good chemistry. Long story short, UC Saros, it sounds like he's down for the night. And when you leave for the game, it sounds like it might be a little bit more serious. So they're going to lean on Pex. It's just a tough sled right now in Nashville after we had a good little run for a few years, but I think we can officially shut the window. It's time to maybe do some rebuilding here and get rid of some assets, which is tough.
I don't know, Max. I think I'd rather have Marty Erat than Philip Forsberg.
Oh yeah,
at this
for
point.
sure. Thanks, George McPhee.
One of the worst.
Job in Vegas.
One of the worst trades in Predators
one of the best
history.
actually. David Poyle, master for job.
That
might have been his last good trade, unfortunately.
Was a decent trade. Michael Latta was also in that trade.
Michael Latta was. Remember on Twitter a few weeks ago?
Yeah,
I shot you a tag, and that was pretty fun. Little backstory: he did not have a good career for the Washington Capitals after he got dealt from the Nashville Predators.
Not really. Not great.
Tough sledding.
Actually, I've heard of him because Garrett Mitchell is a buddy of his. Garrett Mitchell's from Regina.
Yep.
They played together
Former
with the
Pat.
Hershey Bears a little bit. Apparently, he's a great dude. So,
Sounds about right.
shout out to Michael Latta.
Well, hey, you know what? You got us Philip Forsberg, Michael. We wouldn't have got him
Love
without
ya.
you. So thank you.
Yeah, big fan over in Nashville, apparently.
Yes.
Chad Isaac, does the Markstrom injury hurt the Flames? They're now relying on Riddick, but no solid second goalie. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Yeah, no, it definitely hurts the Flames. It hurts my fantasy hockey team, too. I had made a big trade for Jacob Markstrom, and he's hurt right now. I can't really do much while he's hurt. So, hey, I called up Thatcher Demko. Got a shutout. Can't
stuff.
be too mad about that.
One of the only ones we'll get this year, I think.
We got a few more minutes here. Who's hot, who's not? So we were going to just look at the standings here. The Lightning have won 4 straight, so they're back in
that's
action.
not a surprise.
They're
That's regular for them.
14-4-1. The Lightning are in the Central Division. The Blackhawks are still doing pretty good. The Hurricanes are coming on.
Don't forget about the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row.
Well, that's fine.
So that's all I'm saying. That's all hot. This is who's hot, who's
and
not.
cold. Hot and not. Okay, gotcha.
The Blue Jackets have lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, we whooped them up on the weekend pretty good.
Not good. In the East Division, you see the Capitals surging and the Flyers. They've both won 3 in a row. The Sabres have lost 3 in a row. The Devils have lost 2 in a row.
I think we got to wait till next show to talk about the elephant in the Jack Eichel room.
Yeah, next show will be the Sabres Hour, brought to you by the Pagula family.
Can we actually get that sponsorship? I feel like that'd be pretty lucrative.
I'll make a few calls with
New
the
Era Field,
Pagulas.
a couple hats in it for us. Hey, you know,
They've got some nice jerseys. I'd wear a
they do
Sabres
have nice
jersey.
jerseys, but that's about the only thing. Nice about it.
Vegas has won 3 in a row, and the Blues have won 2. The Ducks, who I said would make the playoffs in the West Division, I said they might make that 4th playoff spot. They have lost 7 in a row.
I could have seen it at the beginning of the year, but their young guys are showing what. Hey, Trevor Zegras made his debut.
Yeah.
He's 4 games into his NHL career. Almost scored the Michigan goal last night.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been up there for most beautiful goals, most beautiful first goals of all time. But
one thing I didn't see coming, and I said this when we did our previews, but the Minnesota Wild are 12-6-1 this year. I did not see them being as good as they are. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games.
Yep. And they beat some good teams along the way too. It's not like they've just beaten up on the lowly part of that division. But
and they got Matt Zuccarello back, who I picked up on my fantasy team. This is just who's on Clark's fantasy team. That's all the segment is. But Matt Zuccarello I think he has 11 points in the last 7 games since returning from his injury. So he's on fire.
And
they got Kaprizov. He's on fire.
That might be the rookie of the year still.
Yeah, they're neck and neck. They're neck. Nick Alberga, who's a friend of the show, will tell you that Kaprizov should have been the rookie of the month, not Stutzel. So I mean, there's that. There's that. Good. But poor Ducks, they're not looking good right now, unfortunately. No. But hey, they have 17 points, and the Avalanche are in the playoffs with 23. So they're only 5 points out of a playoff.
That's the thing, right? I mean, it's you can't say it's still early, but it's still early.
Every game is a 4-point game. So, they win a few games, they literally skyrocket up the charts.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that's been, I guess, the most, I want to say, stagnant, overused comment is you can't afford to lose ground. You can't. And it's true to a certain degree, but you can make up that ground pretty quick. If you have a good weekend, Preds gained 8 points. Over the weekend.
Well, right.
And now, unfortunately, they're going to give them right back. But it's something that you can do achievably in this new divisional format in a 56-game schedule.
Yeah, it's right there. Robin Wildy, does Getz get traded this year?
Nope.
The tough part about Ryan Getzlaf is, while he's been there for so long,
he's a legacy player.
He's a legacy guy. And he's making like $8.5 million. That's a tough deal to trade.
I'd have to retain money. I've had a very good chat with my good friend Brad Sanko. Shout out to him.
Okay.
He is a massive Ducks fan, and he's got a lot of theories about this. They change daily, but that's the way it goes when you're an armchair GM.
Yeah.
I don't see Getz moving. I don't see the package or the teams that are going to be able to pay up the dough for him. It's an expiring contract.
Yeah,
so maybe if the Ducks retain some money, the Samuelis traditionally don't like to do that. But at the same time, what's the package? They just put Adam Henrique on waivers.
Wow. He got a goal last night.
Well, that's good. He should. He's getting paid $5.5. So
well, yeah, that's
Ryan
the thing.
Johansson should too, though, but he's on.
So they need to, if they're going to get anything for Getz, he's 38 years old, 37, somewhere in there,
he's
36.
Younger than that. He's 35.
Oh, is he?
He's just turned 35.
Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, I shouldn't, don't want to be ageist.
Not that old yet.
But yeah, he's 30.
He's
okay,
from
so
Uplands.
35.
He's from Uplands. We age slower.
Oh, I see. North Regina age slower? Something in the water up there,
Well, it's not North Regina. It's Uplands. It's a completely separate division. Talk to the Rings. It's a thing.
It's a thing? Okay, we'll have to have this debate another
certainly
day. Jamie Anstey says Taylor Hall has 1 goal in 18. That's an interesting stat.
Yeah, especially
yes, it is.
when it's an $8 million contract. But I don't know who's taking that on either.
There it is. So, yeah, we already talked about the North Division, so we don't have to get too deep into that. But our last topic is Torts, who coaches on the hot seat in general. But
Second last topic. I have a surprise one for you.
Oh, you do? Okay, so Tortorella. Robin Wildy says gets for Skinner. Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless Buffalo throws in a prospect or a pick.
Yeah, gets on an expiring deal. Skinner for 7 years left. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
We also never thought Iggy was going to get traded. Then he went to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's true, chat. That is very true.
Iggy was what, 32 though? This was the last point that was made in the conversation.
34.
If you were going to trade Ryan Getzlaf, you trade him 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too is that I'd love to trade him, but what's his value?
You trade him at the start of the rebuild.
Yeah.
As soon as the Nashville Predators whipped him up in 17, it was over for the Ducks.
Let's get into some coaches here. Tortorella's on the hot seat. You can throw that picture back up, Alan. Sorry. Tortorella's on the hot seat, or is he? They've lost 5 in a row. Not looking good. Travis Green's another name that's getting thrown out a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you ask anybody named Chad Isaac, they'll say Jeff Ward is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, Max? I'll just say this before we get into this conversation. Guess who was trending on Canada-wide Twitter this morning?
Jeff Ward.
No. Former
Tim
coach.
and Sid.
Maybe, but no.
Okay.
Daryl Sutter.
Oh, my.
The Calgary Flames fans are so incensed with how the team has been doing lately that they apparently want Daryl Sutter to come back out of, I think he's retired.
No.
Now, Chad, I'm not saying you're in that boat. Maybe you are. Let me know if you are. But apparently, I mean, it must have been.
Kids are not tough enough today for Daryl Sutter.
It must have been a big enough group of people because he was trending nationwide on Twitter. Columbus won tonight. So
Fantastic.
Torts is safe.
Torts is back.
Yeah, he's not getting fired.
That seat just got 10 degrees cooler.
But I don't know, Max. Do you have anything to say about the coaches' hot seats right now?
You know what? Being a fan of a team that has one, John Hines, he's another name that you got to throw out there. I mean,
Dallas Eakins in Anaheim, too.
I think it's just, we're not going to see, I don't think, a seismic amount of movement in the coaching carousel until after this season. The teams are, again, strapped for cash, and these coaches are locked into some pretty lucrative deals. You're going to want to pay them to finish the job, especially if the fruits of the labor, like the only reason to keep a guy like, for example, a John Hines or a Dallas Eakins would be if you truly think they can help your young guys develop and progress forward. Now, who's on the free agent market for coaches? Is Bruce Boudreau going to leave the bench in Toronto?
Gerard Gallant's out there.
Gerard Gallant. I think he's getting the Seattle job.
Okay.
He's got experience in the expansion area, right? Yeah. So, with that being said, though, too, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think we're going to see a ton of movement until the offseason. I think maybe if something goes horribly wrong, like we never thought Claude Julien was going to be the first name gone this year, but things happen, and I just don't see it happening this year. Maybe a couple more guys go. I don't know.
You imagine if Vancouver fired Travis Green and brought in Claude Julien.
Well, he's a free agent at the end of the year, too. That's the other thing.
Travis Green?
Travis Green is.
Interesting. But do you imagine if they fired Travis Green and brought in Claude Julien, who beat them in the Stanley Cup final back in 2011? Just to be like, we're
just to say it.
Yeah, we're burying the hatchet or whatever you want to say.
The thing about Claude, I think Marc Bergevin said it best. Like things were creeping into their system that he didn't want to see happen again.
Right.
And Claude is a guy that, say he's 60 plus years old. You don't want to say he's stuck in his ways, but I mean, it's a guy that teaching a dog or old dog new tricks at this point in the game in his coaching career. After he just had heart surgery, we have to say that too. Maybe there was a health component involved in this that isn't being reported on. But at the same time, I think Claude had his run. It was a nice little 2 stints in Montreal, and unfortunately, they didn't exactly reach the promised land. But hey,
it looked so good off the top of the season.
It did.
And it just fell apart. Unfortunately,
so fast.
Chad is not a Daryl Sutter supporter.
Okay.
He says I would take my chances on Babcock before coaching Calgary before Sutter, and we know that ain't happening.
Absolutely.
So you're probably right. But yeah, that kind of does it for the night, Max. I don't know. Do you have anything else you had a surprise
one? Topic to bring up.
Half topic.
We have to talk about the crime. The hat crime, so to speak.
Oh, you're talking about the hats, huh?
I would really, Alan, I don't know if you have the picture that we brought up. Maybe we don't need it. We've got both of them.
I can't remember if I put it in or
I'm
not.
interested, Fanalist. How do you keep your hats? How do you keep them nice and crisp and pristine, like the one that I'm wearing on my head right now? Or do you treat them like this? Mm-hmm. And Clark, you did admit to me you coached an entire season of ball.
Yeah,
you guys won a championship.
Season.
You couldn't wash the hat, but
no,
that was 2019.
Sure,
there's things that you
So,
man,
yeah, I guess, I don't know.
This is not the team that just signed George Springer to $150 million.
No, you're right. But I guess that's the question. How do you wash a hat? Because I've never washed a hat. The one time, I think my mom threw a hat in the dishwasher because that was like the thing.
Got a little warped.
Wrecked. Ruined. And I never wore that hat ever again. I put it on my head. I'm like, well, this is wrecked. Never wore it. So I've never washed a hat. I don't know. Is that weird? Am I weird never washing a hat? All of my other hats, I would say, are in very good condition.
Okay.
That one, I coached a baseball season. It got dusty.
And you
it's
won a
just dusty.
championship. Okay.
Yeah, it's just dusty. Other than that, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But
sure.
all of my other hats that I wear on a regular basis are, I would say, in very good
Anyways,
condition.
I think that's a hat crime, personally.
Just keeping it dirty. It's just a dirty hat.
Again, how do you guys wear your hats? Is it something that you wear as a badge of honor, or you
Robin,
nice and grimy, nice
Robin
and
says
dirty?
hats are made to be worn. Just get a new one. Well, yeah, you're right. You know what? I probably am due for a decently new Jays
These ones
hat.
are real nice, actually. These spring training ones with
Yeah,
the
I've never been a
inside the
spring
leaf.
training guy. Like,
See, some
a
of the
gear.
ones that they put out are not good, but like the new blue one, it's just a thing. I probably spent more money on hats than anything in my life.
I can't remember if we've discussed it, but Leafs hats, they're just straight up isn't a Toronto Maple Leafs hat. That isn't like a curved beak, like fancy hat. Like
fancy hat.
I want a Leafs hat that's that with a Leafs logo on it. I don't want any.
You want the baseball style Leafs hat.
Give me that Blue Jays hat with a Leafs logo on it, and I'll wear it every day of my life. But all they have is like white bills or like crazy stripes on the side or like, I don't know.
You're talking about the draft day hats that are kind of wild.
Well, yeah,
and
but
ostentatious,
even or like a dad hat, which I'm not a big dad hat guy.
47 brand. Check out 47 brand. Free
I've
plug
looked
for them.
everywhere. I feel like I've looked all over the place, and I don't know. I can't find a Leafs hat to save my life that I like, and I hope one day that they just release a plain blue baseball style pro fitted hat with the Leafs logo on
Man,
it.
Clark, you're asking a lot. You're asking for a new style of hat. You're asking for a playoff round win. You're asking
I'll take
for,
the playoff before the hat.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Either way, that's all
Adam
I got
Schultz
for
says
tonight.
use a garment bag in the dishwasher, or what are you talking about? Jamie Yancey says use a hat cleaner rack in the dishwasher. So are you talking, Jamie, is there like I feel like I've seen this before, but is there like a wire thing that you put your hat into? It's like a metal wire container almost.
Yeah, it kinda looks like a
maybe
bear
you can do it
trap.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be it. That might be the
Well, we were
the
talking
strategy.
about it before. RA from Spit and Chicklets, another free
The
shout out.
shower.
The shower. Apparently, you're supposed to wear your hat in the shower and wash it like you're washing your hair.
But then
I've seen
the
pictures.
beak though too. Like I feel like that
The
as soon as it
integrity
gets
of the
wet,
beak,
the
right? And see,
integrity
that's
goes.
the question I've got about it. I haven't tried it yet strictly because of, maybe it's a certain kind of hat that you can do that with.
Adam
But
says
yeah.
washing machine. I think that would make it worse, wouldn't it? All the spinning and everything, wouldn't that make it worse?
Yeah.
They sell hat forms to put in the dishwasher. Okay, so Donna and Jamie are maybe onto something.
Okay.
I might have to
Hey,
look
we
into
asked.
this.
We want to know.
I might have to look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to pretty much do it here for us tonight. Tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show, if you're here for hockey, you're going to be happy with tomorrow's RP show. We have Alan May coming in, friend of the SquadCast. He's going to be jumping in to talk Washington Capitals and a whole bunch of
things to talk about Washington.
East Division talk. John Scott, who has been on the RP show before.
NHL All-Star.
NHL All-Star. He's going to be joining us. We're going to be talking all things NHL with him. And then Dustin Nielsen, friend of the SquadCast, is going to be on to talk Oilers and maybe a little CFL mixed in. Maybe a little bit, but
Just
not
a
a ton. A lot of
Is
Oilers.
Muamba going to sign?
Ooh, well, I don't know.
Is he going to? I'm asking you. You're the CFL guy.
Well, that's the thing. It's an interesting
Caught you off guard,
conversation.
didn't I?
Well, I did. I know the answer. Like the answer is tough because there's not a whole lot of money out there right now, and I think he's holding out for the right situation. And there'll be a situation for Enoch Muamba.
I just saw a tweet actually. It was kind of funny about the JJ Watt thing and how much coverage it got, and about again, if CFL true supporters, if you're a partner like TSN is of the Football League, maybe you give that much attention to some of those guys that sign. Did you see that same tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the name
It's an
came
interesting
from,
debate. Very interesting
We
debate.
don't have time for it tonight, but
We will have a debate about that. I have some very strong thoughts on if
Okay,
the
we can't
CFL.
do this anymore.
You're
I just have to
taking
have it out. I just have to.
I have some very strong thoughts
there it is.
on whether the CFL has been saved or ruined by TSN. So I'm just going to say that, but maybe that's for another show.
Yeah.
Next week on the SquadCast, we'll be talking with somebody from RBI Baseball. Somebody will be here.
To be determined.
And we have a special guest coming that we have not yet finalized yet. So we'll let you know. But from the basement of the bunker, we are signing off. I'm producer Clark, Mad Max. I don't know if we've set a record for length. I don't think.
We've
last week was
gone
longer.
into like 9:23.
Last week was longer. So director Jordan and producer Alan in the back, plus our friends at Rockstar Supply Chains, Vigor Lifestyles, IKS Media, Hooplife, Basketball. Thanks to Habib for coming in today. He's not here. I don't know who I pointed at.
You pointed at the wall. I got.
He was over here in this general area.
8 feet apart.
Of course, RBI baseball training. We're going to see you next week. Oh, okay. So tonight's closing lyric is "Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling." And then Max put like a really long street lights, leaves blow.
Whoa.
See, you lost me at the end there, Max. But hey, that's going to do it. We'll see you on Friday for the check-in, Saturday for the hockey show, and next week right here at Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Right here on the SquadCast Facebook page. We'll see you on Twitter.
Take
Bye
care,
for now.
everybody. Have a good night.
And TikTok.